Hey everybody, welcome to the GamerDad Talk Show. We are in studio by Mark Davis, Aaron Clemens, Randy Jensen, there he is, and Gil Frederickson with an E before the R. You know, I was looking in the yearbook and they spelled it wrong in there too. I was like, wow, how could they? I wouldn't make that mistake. I already made that mistake. It's all fixed. Anyway, we are talking Murray High today. We are talking growing up in Murray. We're talking about growing up in Utah. We are talking about the class of 1995. We are just going to have a blast. So, gentlemen, take a seat and we will start the chat. All right, so let's just go around the room. We'll just go clockwise here. Mark grew up northeast Murray, I guess you'd say, kind of in my neck of the woods.
Yeah.
You went to Parkside. Who was go really quickly through your teachers, like every teacher.
Like I'm supposed to remember them all.
You can do this.
Kindergarten was Farmer. First grade was Powers. Second grade
was she like a little short, really tan lady? Yeah, I remember
her. Second grade was Dalton.
Dalton.
Third grade was Putnam. No, Davis, who became Putnam.
Oh, that's
Putnam,
right.
I had her in third and fourth.
Okay,
She moved up with me, and she was my favorite teacher, so that worked out great.
Very nice.
Then fifth was Denaro, and sixth was...
Oh, that's right. I forgot we were in Miss Denaro's class together.
Was sixth.
I had Mr. Stewart, and then Miss Lamb was next door. Mr. Osler.
I had Lamb.
You have Lamb? Okay.
Six, yeah.
Very nice. And you grew up pretty close to Randy, right? Were you guys like in the same ward, same?
No, not really close, actually.
Oh, really?
No, I was on the other side of Murray. Like Mark was over that kind of. I was over more by Murray Park, like 53rd South-ish.
Right on 53rd.
Right on 53rd South. So yeah, we weren't really that close. I'm kind of surprised, Mark. Like this is the first time I'm thinking about it. We weren't in any elementary class together.
No, but we were on the same basketball teams.
Many times.
That's pretty much the same thing, right? Yeah, more or less. All right. Well, let's stick with Parkside, guys, and then we'll come back to Gil. So, Randy, how about you? Who are your teachers?
What? So let's see. I think Clements, Hansen.
Oh, Miss Hansen.
Miss Hunsaker. I remember her. She lived in my neighborhood.
Did she really?
Yeah.
I had Hunsaker. Did you ever for second?
Yes.
Okay, so we were in the same class in second grade.
Same class in second grade?
Yeah.
Let's see. Third grade was, I think, Miss Watts. If I remember right.
Watts, yeah.
Fourth grade was Miss Drexel.
Oh, we were in fourth grade together too.
Was it Drexel or Drexler?
Drexel. She actually had a grandchild named after me. And she told me this at Emma Camp's funeral.
Wait, what?
Yeah, she came to me, she's like, Nicholas Jacobs. I'm like, you remember me? She's like, I have a grandson named after you. I'm like, what? I'm like, so...
You knew her daughter?
Yeah, I'm like, in name, right? Like, I mean, I don't know your daughter. The baby's not mine, I swear.
You had an influential fourth grade. I mean, we're talking...
I was a busy young lad.
Fourth grade.
There were reasons why I was so popular. No, and she's like, no, she's like, I just loved, she's like, you were one of my favorite students. You were so kind, and we loved your name, and I just talked about you all the time, and my daughter ended up naming one of her kids after your name. I'm just like, oh, well, I'm honored. Thank you very much. Anyway, neither here nor there. Fifth grade.
That's hilarious.
Fifth grade, I believe, what was her name? I can see her face, but can't. Lundberg.
Oh, Lundberg. That's right. And she was one of the younger grades and then moved up when we got older, right?
Maybe.
I think that's what happened.
And then sixth grade was Osler.
Mr. O.
Mr. O.
So there were always rumors that he would actually spank kids. Did that ever happen?
Well, I mean, he had the paddle on the wall.
Oh.
But he never used it.
He never used it. It was just his throwback to better times. Like
exactly. I mean, let's just say I probably would have found out had he been.
Okay.
Wait till I tell you guys about fourth grade.
What happened?
Uh-oh. Somebody did get spanked, it sounds like. All right, well, let's go back to Gil. Gil, where did you go to elementary?
McMillan Elementary in
Nice.
Boise, Idaho.
Oh, Boise, Idaho. That's weird because we have a McMillan that's just down the
Yeah.
street. Where,
I ended up
all my
Two
moving-
blocks from his house.
Yeah.
yeah, super close. All my
I
boys
didn't
went
know
there.
that, Gil.
In Boise, Idaho. So how old were you when you moved to Utah?
I think I was 12. It was 7th grade.
And you came right to Hillcrest.
Actually, I spent a year in North Salt Lake at South Davis Junior High.
Oh, no way. I think that's where my wife went. What's the other one up there? Mueller Park? I think she actually might have gone to Mueller Park. But yeah, all of her family lives up there in Bountiful, so I know where that's at. That's awesome.
And the way things worked out, in Boise, it was 6 through 9 in junior high.
Nice.
So in 6th grade, I was bottom of the totem pole, and then as soon as I hit 7th, we moved. Then I'm back to bottom of the totem pole.
That sucks.
So that was awesome.
Just perfect for a strapping young lad trying to fight his way in the world. No, that's awesome. Okay, Aaron, so how about you?
So I spent most of my elementary school in Kearns.
Juvie.
Yeah, in Compton. So, and then my 4th grade year, my mom had graduated from BYU, became a teacher, and so we moved to a little town in northern Utah at the south end of Bear Lake called Lake Town.
Oh, nice. You lived in Lake Town? That's a beautiful area.
Yeah, beautiful area.
Seriously.
School was not great. I was a troubled youth, and so the principal, this is the story about being spanked in 4th grade. The principal asked my mom if he could have permission to use corporal punishment.
What did you do?
That's a story if you want to hear it.
I do like
Okay,
it.
so there was a kid who decided that he didn't want to come to school one day, and when his mom pressed him about why he didn't want to go to school, he came up with a story about a kid at school threatening him. And so she put him in the car, brought him to school, and said, "Somebody is threatening my son." So the principal, being the tough guy that he was, took him up into the hallway where we had class. And there were 4 classrooms in this hallway. And I just happened to walk out, and he just points at me and says, "That's him."
Oh my gosh.
I had never met the kid, didn't know who he was.
Holy cow.
And so he's like, "Okay." The principal's like, "Okay, I'll take care of this." After lunch, this is first thing in the morning when the kid came and identified me. After lunch, I'm standing out on the playground, just kind of, I don't know, zoning out, and I feel a hand grab my hair.
That was the spirit.
You're grabbing your hair?
Yep, grab my hair.
I've never spilled the spirit like that.
Yeah, no, it was not the spirit. There may
Oh,
have
it
been
was not a
spirits.
hand I recognized.
It may have been. There may have been spirits involved, but like whiskey. But anyway, so Mr. Matheson comes out and he picks me up by my hair, grabs
Oh my
full
God.
hand full of my hair, and picks me up, like feet dangling, and he carries me all the way to the office, like that.
Wow.
And we get to his office, and he takes me into the little room behind his office, and he bends me over a desk and takes his belt off and just wails on me.
Holy cow.
You want to be a little more clear with that there?
I mean,
In a spanking,
Oh, okay.
not-
very
not with-
whoa.
aggressive, punishing.
Here goes the PG-13 rating.
No way.
Sheesh.
To my knowledge, he was not a priest. So. Was that?
That is horrific, though.
It got
It
weird.
was.
Oh
didn't
my
it?
gosh.
Yeah, it was pretty traumatic for me.
And were things made right at some point, or did it just happen and you were victimized and that is it?
Yeah, it came out later that this kid had lied about it, but they didn't. I got no apologies. No.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Wow. Sorry about thrashing you to sleep with my belt,
Yeah. No.
cutting you in two with a bread knife, but
No,
wow.
Nothing like that. So
that
yeah,
is
it was an interesting.
insane.
Interesting year.
So Mr. Osler never did that to Randy.
Oh, well, you know, he came close one time. Yeah, I still remember we were outside, like, it was on a picture day, and so I'd actually worn a button-down shirt, which, you know, was unusual for me. But we were outside, like, playing tag or something. He kind of joined in, and I went running by, and he reached out like he was going to grab me, and accidentally, like, caught his hand in my shirt and just ripped the thing, like, just destroyed the shirt.
Wow.
And, like, I still remember the look on his face because he was just like mortified because he couldn't believe he had just ripped the shirt off one of his students, and he was so embarrassed about it. Like, I didn't understand why he was, why he was so freaked out about it, but
he's like, I'm going to jail.
Yeah, exactly. Nowadays I understand, but yeah, I was like, what's the big deal? Give me a note, I'll go home and change, and that's what I did.
Seriously.
But it was just kind of funny. I just still remember the mortified look on his face when he ripped my shirt off.
That is crazy.
Yeah, it sounds a lot worse than it was, huh?
Still.
Then my
Sounds
sixth grade
just as bad
teacher-
as Aaron's.
Man, you guys have a knack for just really pissing off grumpy old men.
Yeah.
I can confirm.
That is nuts. Okay, so I want to talk quickly about Mrs. Dalton. Was she not the epitome of like a 1980s, like everything? Didn't she have like the big bleach blonde hair and like the really dark makeup? She kind of looked witchy almost. Do you guys remember her? You should,
Yes.
Mark. I mean, she was your teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mrs. Dalton actually came to my baptism.
Really?
Yeah, she did. I invited her and she showed up.
Did she smack you with a belt?
Maybe if I asked.
That is
She was
really
she was
weird.
not, for a teacher, she was not unattractive.
No, I remember. I mean, she was like the epitomes of an '80s woman. She wasn't a bad-looking woman, but she was just kind of, I don't know. I was just always kind of scared of her for some
And Mark,
reason.
we have a surprise. Guess who's here tonight?
Oh, girl.
Hi, Mark.
Hello, Mark.
Was she a tranny? What?
Hey.
She's just aged.
the lotion on it again.
She's just aged. That's all. I can't do a 32-year-old woman from the '80s.
I don't remember ever having a teacher that I thought was attractive.
Oh, you didn't like Miss Schnibby from Murray High School, junior high?
Why is that? No, you guys are gonna have to remind me who Miss Schnibby was.
No, we don't.
I'm assuming that she'll never ever watch this, or she might be dead. I don't know. We've been graduated from that whole situation for 35 years now, something junior high. How long ago was that? It's been a hot minute. But yeah, I don't know. I can look back and like Miss Trotter, the French teacher, Marie Junior or Hillcrest. She was an attractive woman.
Oui.
Yeah,
Oui,
yeah,
oui.
she was.
Remember Miss Trotter was a Bix? Anyone get that reference? Remember when what's-his-face broke into the school over the weekend and completely vandalized everything? And
Like
he tried
Satin Loves You, that
Yeah,
one?
that one. And he spray painted on Miss Trotter's door. He tried to say Miss Trotter is a bitch.
Oh.
But he spray painted Miss Trotter as a Bix. Because he couldn't spell.
Who was that?
Yeah, who was this?
Can we name names? It
Yes.
was probably, it was Mandarino, wasn't it?
Was it Steve?
I believe so. That was the rumor of who it was. Somebody went to, got in trouble for it. I thought it was him, but
Oh my gosh.
maybe not. I don't know.
Steve, if it wasn't you, we don't mean to defame you.
Yeah.
And if it was you, hello from prison.
Only assume
You
that's
think he's
what he-
still doing time from the
from
junior high
junior
vandalism?
high.
So
They treated him as an adult. Tried him as an adult.
My recollection is that he's been on Facebook and has been out and behaving himself for quite some time.
Good for him.
Maybe a productive member of society. So,
Has
Wait,
been
when you
out,
say out,
got out.
well, yes.
He's
No, no, no,
released.
No. Out of being a
Custody?
guest of the state.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Oh,
As
okay.
opposed to
I
an
thought
enemy
you
of the
meant-
state.
Okay.
Oh, that out. Ah, I see.
Oh.
Oh.
You mean like that?
Oh. All right. So, while we're getting embarrassing, and you guys got to be straight up honest here, who was your first crush when you were in second and third grade? Bingham comes home every day. He's like, "This is my new girlfriend." I have a new girlfriend today. She's beautiful. I'm like, you're in 3rd grade, bro.
Who was it?
Well
Why was it
done.
Jessica Harrington.
Jessica Harrington. You went to high school, Jessica, or elementary with Jessica.
That's where I turned that off.
Bush. That's Bushley, Gil. Well, I probably had the worst kept crush secret in the whole school.
You have the worst kept secret?
Worst kept crush secret, yeah.
Okay. Who was it?
Nick, you don't remember?
No.
Poor Jessica Matsumori.
Oh! Does she have like triplets and
Yeah, she's got.
living the high life?
I was so in love with Jessica that on Valentine's Day, I think it was in 3rd or 4th grade. On Valentine's Day, Mrs. Davis / Putnam, whichever she was at the moment, let me come in early and decorate her desk with all of my Valentine chocolates
Really?
and love. And poor Jessica was mortified.
But she probably didn't let you know. Like, she was also such an angel that.
No, she put off a vibe. She wasn't happy.
Okay. Who has a memory of subjecting one of the girls in school to something like that? Because I certainly do.
I didn't do that until college. Man, that was really bad. I was courting this deaf girl. She was adorable, and I tried to say, "Will you be my Valentine?" And I said, "You smell like bacon."
Oh.
And
Which is just his expression of love. You know, that we all say love. I love you in a different way. You know. And
yeah. I mean, who doesn't love bacon? But
I heart bacon.
it was not great.
Oh, I
So
wish we
I
got it.
saved that embarrassment until I was pushing my
You're gonna win
20s
this one.
or in my 20s. So it was much more effective.
I love you.
I love you.
Our viewers out here, this is Aaron's little man. Say hi right through the camera. Tell him your name.
My name's Nash.
This is Nash, and he's 5, and he is awesome. And he's been playing with my son Bingham. Bingham, come over here and say hi. Bingham's 8, and he's got wild hair today because he's been out playing with the neighborhood kids, huh? You guys having fun? You playing race cars?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. All right, we're just talking crazy times here because we all went to high school together for years and years and years. All right, I didn't hear Gil's first crush. I mean, maybe you could tell us your junior high crush since that's when we will have similarities.
So, we're crossing paths here.
Are you being quiet over there on purpose? Or you
No,
just
I'm
really got
trying
to
to
think?
think of who it was. There were multiples.
Is he in the room now?
It's always been you, Mark. It was always you. You had me at hello. So mine was Carrie Moose, 3rd grade. I had Miss Christensen, and she actually transferred out to go another class, and I only saw her for like the one day, and I swear I didn't see her for the rest of the school year. And then 4th grade, I literally asked her to go steady with me, or to go with me. That's what we used to say, right?
Yeah,
Will you
that
go
was
with
the
me?
terminology.
So to go with me for every year between 4th grade and 8th grade. And every year she said no, just wanted to be friends. And then I found out.
Did she really want to be friends though?
Well,
Turns out
after high school, she and I did date a little bit.
Hey-o.
But she told me that she was waiting for me to ask her at the beginning of 9th grade, and she was going to say yes, but I never did it. I'm like, I gave up, and that was the year. She was just waiting for me, and I'm like,
That sounds manipulative. to me.
Yeah.
Not that I know anything about manipulative women.
I'm calling you.
sounds like there's some history there. Some
Couple
real
three.
deep cutting history.
I mean, you got anything harder than Dr. Pepper? I'll tell you all about it.
I'm afraid not. We're a dry house, but
This is when it gets
Only
real.
Kidding. This is
There's
Dry
a-
County.
this is Dry County.
Are we going real world? Stop being polite and start getting real.
That's right.
My wife, she might have a stash somewhere I don't know about when things are really rough. All right, Gil, coming back to you. Full embarrassment. It's okay.
Thought you were off the hook, didn't you?
Nope, I've just been trying to remember names.
Describe this person. She had a face,
Correct.
2 ears.
Super hot for a 4th grader.
That's right.
In a 4th grade kind of way.
All right. If you really need time to think about it, we can come back
Well,
to
I
it.
think when I first moved here at Hillcrest, my first crushes were, I think they were all swimmers.
Swimmers.
Swimmers are good.
All right. Like Mandy Swim?
There's a name I haven't heard in a while.
I know, right? Yeah, I
And
was
they
really
were all
looking
in
through.
a grade older than us.
Yes. So I had a sister
I
who was a
think,
grade older than me, and it was excellent. I had so many fun dates with older women, and man, did they just drop like flies when they got older and they started getting married. It's like, oh, I guess they're a year older than me, so that makes sense. But so who?
I think it was Jessica Martinson
Oh, I remember
Remember
Jessica
that name?
Martinson, yes.
and also Abby Anderson.
Abby Anderson. Didn't she end up having a child in high school? Like towards our senior year? She was blonde, cute, short. I think
Yeah,
she
I don't
did.
remember a child though.
That's what she said to you anyway, right?
Gil.
I
And
remember
maybe
that.
we should start with our apologies first for all the people we're going to talk about.
I know, right?
Sorry, Steve.
well,
Sorry,
It's only a
Steve.
2-hour show.
Sorry, Steve.
sorry.
Sorry,
Don't
everyone.
kill me.
I don't think anybody wants to hide their child, but I mean, I assume she kept it. Maybe we're spreading really bad gossip here.
Oh yeah, that could be bad.
That's like if you just added the wrong person, huh, Nick?
Either that,
No, that was,
either that, or she didn't have a child in high school, and now she's sitting there talking to her kids, going, "No,
Nope,
this is
that
just-
didn't happen.
These guys don't know what they're talking about. They're old men with bad memories."
Yeah, we're old men with bad memories.
We always wondered what happened to Joffrey, Mother. Where is Joffrey?
Right.
I know. All right. We'll get off of that then. Sorry out there. We'll keep this on the up and up. Not spread any horrible rumors.
We've given
Who
our
else got
apologies.
pregnant in high
Who
school?
else was pregnant? Me. You guys know who came out?
What about abortions? Were there some abortions?
We're just gonna get really dark. Oh my goodness. No, let's not get really dark. Let's talk about how freaking awesome it was growing up in the 80s and being Generation X, because it cannot be beat. And I think the fact that everything that is being remade is just an old 80s ripoff is a testament to how awesome our childhood was. Would you guys not agree with that?
I would agree.
I think it's a testament to how cool our childhood was, and also a testament to how much people are still trying to get us to spend money on stuff, and so they're trying to remake everything to get us to go and
We have the
Relive
disposable incomes now, so they're just trying to capitalize on our nostalgia.
Tell me more about
Well,
this disposable income concept.
Well, I'm currently
I'd like to learn
unemployed, so
more.
I
It
have
is.
none.
well, see, I once had income, now it's disposed.
That's how it works. It's really not a new concept.
Who disposed
Well,
of it for you?
I always laugh at the,
Kids.
growing up in the 80s, 90s, like the stuff that we took for granted. Like, do you remember how often every year we had that assembly in school about, hey, be aware, there's a lot of people out there trying to kidnap you. And so everywhere you go, you've got to be on stranger danger alert because somebody wants to kidnap you,
It
right?
was always a set to like a Van Halen song.
Yeah.
Right
now.
Get away from that guy.
Yeah. No, but and to
Don't
my
go in
knowledge,
that
no one in
van.
our class was kidnapped. Correct?
What's
Is there
that?
anyone out there? You know?
I don't remember anybody.
Well, and then
being
I
kidnapped.
wonder, did that affect like the way we raise our kids now? Because I remember like when my kids were young, like never having them out of eye shot. Like,
Oh yeah.
you know, like
We watched them like hogs.
total hover parents. Is it because we were raised in the 80s when we thought, if your kid walks around the corner alone, guess what? There's a van,
Yep,
there's
they're
a child
ready.
snatching van sitting
They're
there
just
waiting.
waiting for you to look the other way. Your kid's gone.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I
There's always
lived for
sickness.
4 days in Murray Park and no one knew it.
Some of those summer nights in high school, like,
Sleeping in the igloo
yeah,
Whoa, the igloo
What is the igloo?
at Murray Park.
at Murry Park.
The igloo, holy
You remember
crap.
the igloo, Nick?
No, I don't.
It
the white
smelled
walls?
like urine.
Oh, the white walls. Yes.
It smelled like a combination of urine and feces.
Ah, and you get a pink
And
slip.
you're
if you go over
welcome,
to-
Murray.
You get pink eye going in it.
that's
It was. I think it was patient 0 for pink eye.
my first pink eye case.
from the igloo. Oh my gosh,
No,
I
I'd
totally
never thought
forgot
about that
about
before.
those.
About that.
And the metal slides
I'm
that
thinking
burn you.
about-
Oh, heck yeah.
Nash.
The twirly
Yeah.
ones.
This is probably the longest he's been out of my sight when not at home.
Yeah.
Really? Well, he's partying it up.
Yeah, he's partying it up. I trust where he's at. So.
We've got red vines and soda and lots of Hot Wheels. He is in good hands in this house.
He's going to be all sugared up.
But I always just wonder if that's why we kind of tend to be some other parents in our generation, is because of how we were raised, thinking we were supposed to get kidnapped and
Everyone had
Right.
drugs. Everyone was approaching
Nope,
your
just
child.
you, Randy.
And-
It's just you.
and quicksand existed.
Right.
Yeah, quicksand. When you're hiking, watch for cougars
Watch
and
out
quicksand.
for cougars and quicksand. Now cougars mean something different.
Totally
Right.
different. Now they say go look for him. Seriously.
My son goes to BYU, and I totally want to find the T-shirt that says "The only cougar I like is your mom."
Do they sell that at the bookstore?
No,
They
it turns
should.
out they don't. You got to Etsy that one. That's why I got Gil. He's the master of Etsy.
Seriously. I love it. I love it. All right. So, in addition to, I mean, just growing up in the 80s, what kind of music were you guys like did you grow up on? I mean, I was all about synth pop. And then it was 1986 when Slippery When Wet came out. But until then, it was like Erasure, Never Ending Story, stuff that was from soundtracks from movies at that time. I remember we were on the road. So do you know Sheila Evans? Does that name ring a bell?
Sheila Mitchell, right?
I know
Sheila
Sheena
Mitchell.
E.
Yeah. Yes, Mitchell. That's right. Her mom drove our bus. And one day she cranked it up and it was Ain't Nothing Gonna Break My Stride. And the whole bus is singing. And I'm like, oh, this is the best.
That is cool.
And I can't even imagine like that happening.
Life will never be any better than this moment right now.
Yes, it was fantastic.
Just downhill from
It was just all downhill after whoever the crap sang that song.
I remember
Matthew
Sheila's mom
Wilder.
driving that bus because
Matthew Wild.
I
I love that song.
That's
being
so
that bus
great.
with a snowball one time, and she ended up in my parents' driveway because I evidently was busted
that. Yikes.
for throwing snowballs at the school bus. I didn't know that was a bad thing. I thought I was supposed to.
It's a huge target.
I mean, it's
I'm
big,
like-
it's yellow.
I'm like, I hit it, Dad.
It's that kid's fault putting the window down.
Right.
My first cassette tape was a single of the Divinyls. I touched myself.
Touch myself. That was a great song. A video you did not want to watch with your parents in the room, though.
Oh,
My first cassette tape was Tone Loc,
Oh, yeah.
Funky Cold Medina.
My first cassette tape was a stolen dubbed version of Def Leppard, Hysteria.
Hysteria.
Thank you, Matt Cox. Matt dubbed it for me. Thanks, Matt, if you're listening.
Oh, man. We would sit by the radio, waiting for your favorite song to come on the radio. And they're always talking over the beginning and the end of it. Oh,
Yeah,
stupid
get me out of that
DJs
intro and
ruining my
outro.
recording.
Who remembers Todd Newcomb, the DJ Todd Newcomb?
Oh, he's back.
He's still on the air,
Yeah,
dude.
really?
He
Yeah.
just came back in the last year or
And
two.
Aaron, we have a surprise tonight. Guess who's here?
No, he was the one that would be like, so I keep getting requests for this song so that you can record it, and then he would talk like 15 seconds into the song just to ruin it.
Well, no, just because he knew you were recording it, and so he
course.
wanted to cement his place in your listening
Was it,
history.
Pakistan's
that
threatening my
makes it a little bit
borders.
more acceptable to me.
Not today, mister. Nuke them before they nuke you.
Okay. That was RoboCop, right?
You haven't dismantled your MX stockpile.
Pakistan's threatening our border. That's it, Buster. No more military aid.
More military aid. See,
what movie is that from?
RoboCop.
RoboCop.
Yep.
I did not know that was a quote. I thought that was just weird sound bites that he made for his show. I need to watch RoboCop.
Well,
again.
RoboCop was rated R, Nick. So
You know what? I was raised. My favorite show growing
And it
up
was
was
an 80s R.
Aliens and Return of the Living Dead. So we talked about this in our movie episode a couple weeks ago. My parents, they were not afraid of showing their children R-rated movies or having them in the house. Many things that I've seen that I probably shouldn't have seen.
one time, my mom let me rent a movie called Lesbian Vampires. True story. That is a true story. From
Did you get something
7-Eleven.
good, Mark?
From 7-Eleven.
7-Eleven rented movies?
Julie Davis.
Oh my gosh. Is this a good one, Mom? Sure.
She actually didn't end up letting me
Mark.
watch it, but her and Dad did. That is 100% true story. That is 100%
I
true.
100% believe you.
Ah, Julie.
Oh, Julie.
R.I.P.
All right.
Your mom was the coolest, Mark.
Thanks, man.
She let me hide a shotgun in the front closet, the coat closet.
Oh my goodness.
Aaron, how many of us had a shotgun in our coat closet that we didn't know about, thanks to you?
0. Everybody who had
Was
a
this
gun in
like
their
worst
coat
case
closet.
scenario situation shotgun?
No, this was
Home invasions?
so after graduation.
Aaron was a troubled soul.
I was just a soul with disposable income, and so I decided to buy a shotgun. And then what do you do when you buy a shotgun for the first time in your life? Is you go and you show it to all your friends.
Of course.
Like you do.
Like you do. And Julie decided that letting me wander around Murray with a shotgun in a box was probably not the best idea. And so she pleaded with me to keep it in her coat closet.
Okay.
So
How long did your mom pass away, Mark?
6 years.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear
Has it been
that.
that long?
Yeah.
We're old.
We are so old. I think we've all, probably everybody but Randy's had some horrible health scare, right? Aaron, you been okay? Your heart okay? You want to go get checked right now? I know a guy.
Aaron's had his heart broken.
Who hasn't?
Back to his first crush.
Shush, we're not talking
Coming
about
back
that
to
now.
me now.
Oh, did we get a name from Aaron? I don't think we heard crush from
No,
Aaron.
you did.
Did we?
Just nobody was paying attention.
Oh, we need to hear it again.
Repiten, por favor.
Yes.
No, I thought we weren't doing that anymore.
There's no statute of limitations on
There's no
questions.
statute of limitations on that one. Oh, we need to find out the destruction of property statute of limitations.
Hey, good changing of the subject.
Yeah.
Who was it, Aaron?
Yeah.
Well,
We'll have to rewind it
so
to find out.
Yes, I can.
when
find out.
I got to Hillcrest Junior High, so I transferred in 7th grade. That's when I came to you guys. I had a terrible, horrible crush on Jessica Harrington.
You don't
You
say.
hear that,
You don't
Jessica? Everybody just loved you to death.
And to express my undying love, I decided that it would be my master move was to write terrible, terrible poetry. Sign
Worked
it
for somebody.
anonymous, and fold it up and slip it through the vents in her locker.
Do you remember some lines from this
Oh,
this poem?
Sure, it's tattooed on his forearm.
Yeah, I got it right here.
not unless you want me to throw up. No, it was.
All right, that might be asking too much.
No, it was terrible poetry.
Got a little Song of Solomon-y at one point.
Things got a
I
little
tried not
heated.
to steal from any poet, and so that's what made it particularly.
You probably should have stolen.
And I probably
No, plagiarism's okay, Aaron.
If I
It's
did
all
borrow
right.
anything, it was Emily Dickinson. So if that tells you anything.
You said Dickinson.
Like
So
this. Oh my
just
God.
like Mark's moment with Jessica Matsumori, my awkward moment with Jessica, and then Jessica, if you ever watch this, I am so sorry. The last day of, was it 8th grade or, I think it was 8th grade. I stopped at this flower patch on the way to school. I rode the UTA bus to school instead of the school bus. And I stopped at Flower Patch on the way, and I bought her a dozen roses. And I think it was like, I can't remember, $6.99 or $7.99 for a dozen roses back in the day. And I had them in my gym bag the whole day, just looking for an opportunity.
These roses smell like your butts. Were they buying their underwear? Oh my gosh.
It was,
Bad choice.
there was not an opportunity. I carried the stupid bag around with me the whole day.
Ended up giving the flowers to Coach Knudsen.
No.
Thank you.
What are these?
What are these?
It's about time
I
you
never
gave us
lived in
some
the
attitude.
flowers! Squat thrust. 45 squat thrust! No!
Nobody's ever done something like this for me before. No, so the very last moment, her bus is pulling away, and I jump onto the bus. The bus driver's like, you don't belong on this bus, and I give her the roses.
But you can't hold me back, bus driver, for I am here for true love.
It was 25% of an 80s, like standing with the radio above my head kind of thing. But
Straight up say anything.
yeah.
Such-
No, so that's so I did end up giving her the roses, but it was a really awkward element on a bus. Anyway, back to destruction of property.
I wonder if Jessica's listening tonight.
That is a fantastic
Jessica, do you
story.
remember this? Is it ingrained in your head?
So did anyone have a crush that wasn't named Jessica?
My elementary school girlfriend was Wendy Christensen.
Aw, I just saw her right before graduation. She is such a cool person.
She's a delight to follow on social media.
Her husband's very nice too.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I see. I mean, I'm looking through the yearbook, and I'm looking at half these people. I'm like, where is this person now? I mean, there's a lot of people you don't really expect to see at the reunions and stuff. But I'm just like, I can't even imagine where half these people are right now. It's like, would they even recognize me if they walked past me on the street? Maybe not. I don't know. It was just kind of weird going through the yearbook. I haven't picked it up in probably 10, 15 years. Every now and then my kids pick it up and they're like, yeah, look how dumb Dad looks with his cello and singing in madrigals. And, I mean, it was fine. It was great. There's so much I loved about high school, but I look at these people and I'm like, I hope they're okay. I hope they're still alive and doing well and wish them the best, but it's so nuts. All right, so I mean, we jumped a little bit ahead going into to junior high here, so let's just keep talking about it. Did anybody go to the junior high before they blew it up?
Again, no.
No.
I did, and it was really weird. They had to add so many weird little hallways and hidden rooms tucked behind other rooms. There's one classroom you had to actually go through a classroom to get to.
It was a Frankenstein of a
Yeah.
building, but
They actually have that in my kids' middle school right now. There's a couple of classrooms that you have to go through the classroom to get to another one.
That
So
junior high
weird.
had herpes.
Oh, it definitely
After
did.
we left, yes.
After Mark left, yes. No, I was just like, I mean, most of it was intact, and it's just, this flood of memories, but I'm just like, they were just squeezing every last bit of room out of that place, and it was just surprising.
well, didn't it start out as several separate buildings, and they just kind of made hallways to connect everything?
It was a junior high made of lesser junior highs.
Yeah.
Well, no, it was the old Murray High School. Like it
the
was
original
the
old
original
building.
Murray High School, and then they just kept adding on as they needed it. So it kind of just kept growing up the hill.
Yep.
That's why it seemed like you were in 3 different buildings, because you kind of were.
That makes sense. But yeah, I mean, that's exactly how it felt. And it just was even worse. It was so weird, but going through the old library and everything, it just this flood of crazy memories. And I don't know if you guys remember this, but I missed the first half of 8th grade. The year, or that summer in August, I was actually bit by a spider at scout camp, and I got really, really sick. And I was bedridden for a couple months. I actually had to do 8th grade sex education at home with Mr.
There's a joke there. There's a joke
There's
there.
7 jokes there.
The real story is worse than any joke you guys can think of. This was back before, color copies, and I'm looking at cross sections of things that I've never seen before. Mr. Gissman, if you guys remember him, he was
Galen Gissman.
Galen Gissman. He was the VP and vice principal, not vice president. And he came and taught me sex education at home, and it was the most awkward, horrible experience of my life. And he would just be like, you saw the diagram, right? Well, yeah, we don't need to talk much about that, but let's make sure you labeled things right, and let's move on. And I'm just like, okay.
I don't remember having to label things.
Oh, there were labels.
I think you were.
I think you got
Nick,
the special treatment.
I think
Yeah, I think,
I mean,
Nick, I think you were molested.
I was
my
just-
mother was in the other room. It was okay.
I
But
still don't think it was okay.
my sister and I got into quite a heated argument because I could swear there were only 2 holes down there. And she said, Nicholas, I'm a woman. I'm pretty sure I know how many holes I have. And I'm like,
Something's wrong with you, because I saw the diagram.
13. That's what an argument. I have this diagram, and it only shows 2. I don't know what this weird hamburger thing is, but I know I was so confused. And my mom is in the kitchen dying. just laughing, and I was traumatized.
More of a hastily packed suitcase.
Nick, I think you were subjected to a torture that none of the rest of us were. I don't remember sex education in 8th grade.
Oh, it was rough.
I had sex education with Miss Peck. Do you remember Miss Peck in junior
Yes,
high?
yes.
She's fairly attractive as well. But
My sex education was Mr. Wright in junior high. Remember the really
but it
old
was
dude?
all wrong. Mr. Wright taught me sex education. Oh, man.
I seriously don't remember sex education in.
I remember it being a lot less eventful than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I mean,
First of all, I remember being surprised my parents signed the form. I was like, really? Okay. Well, rock and roll.
weren't your parents Quakers?
you showed this to me on purpose?
Maybe my parents didn't. Maybe my dad didn't sign the form, and so I didn't go.
Well, I mean, that is possible.
You would have
And then
forged that one.
What's that?
You would have forged that one.
Probably.
I would have signed that for you. Why didn't
Yeah,
you come
you
to me?
would've. Maybe I just slept that day.
Yeah. You just slept
See,
like
I wish I did.
I
It
think
was
I
like
kinda
9th
missed
grade,
the
so that would have been the
purpose of
fluffier.
Oh,
sex
okay,
ed
yep.
because I was like asking the teacher
Great,
for
great.
tips. So what works? What doesn't?
You're like, is this a good pickup line?
Mark's like, I thought this was going to be more pickup lines, and I learned sex ed from John Hughes movies. So
Seriously.
just call me Ducky.
Quack, quack.
Yeah, so I came back almost it was like December, and I was like way behind. I was so confused. Like all my friends had moved on with other friends. I was kind of like starting over, which was kind of cool, but also terrifying for a junior high kid, you know. But Greg Nelson was my best friend, and
Tony.
rest his soul.
R.I.P.
And oh man, I mean going back to the 80s, that kid had every He-Man action figure you could dream of. He was all about He-Man, so was I, and he was just spoiled rotten with He-Man. He also had older brothers who were into it a little bit, but I would just go there and play with these He-Man toys at first. Then we became really good friends, but yeah, I mean, I had to start. Did you know Joe Spencer? He was only at Hillcrest for 8th and 9th grade, but he and I became friends. Then I just kind of started hanging out with the girls before I realized that it made me look
What's
really
up?
gay.
Whoa, okay.
I didn't really think about that, but all my friends were like the girls in the school. I'm like Jamie Finlinson and I don't know, Jenny Racine. We all just had lunch, and I thought I was the cool kid on the block, never thinking how it looked to everybody else.
I work with Jenny Racine's brother.
Do you really?
I do.
Where do you work?
CHG Comp Health Medical Staffing. He's in security at the facility. He was a retired cop.
Is that Ryan?
Yeah.
Oh, Ryan Racine, yeah. Was he a year or two younger than us?
No, he was older.
Was he older?
By a
Okay.
year or two.
Okay. Small world. That is so bizarre.
Yeah, he was in my
Names I
neighborhood, so
haven't
I
heard in
went
a
on
while.
a couple
Yeah.
scout trips with him.
I've seen
Went to
Jamie
Powell.
Finlinson, her family on
Decent
Facebook.
dude.
I think she's like in Heber, if I'm not mistaken, or like up in Wasatch County somewhere. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong there.
Who's that?
Jamie Finlinson?
Jimmy Phillips. Oh, yeah.
I mean, all people I haven't seen in years, but just, I mean, this is where Facebook's pretty cool. You can kind of keep up with what people
Yeah.
are doing.
Yeah. As long as you're not, being creepy and weird about it, but
Well, it's a little creepy and weird here and there.
just the
Define
fact it exists
creepy and
kind of
weird,
is.
like-
You know? Nothing weirder than walking into someone's house and asking to go through their photo albums, right?
Hey, there I am. Remember that day?
It's okay. I'm a friend of a friend.
What was your name again? We went to high school together? Oh, okay. All right, so some of the teachers at Hillcrest, do you guys remember Mr. Bemis?
Oh, I remember Mr. Bemis. He was a science teacher, wasn't he?
I believe so.
I remember the name.
And then
I thought we silenced our phones.
We did. That was an alarm. I apologize.
I thought we silenced our alarms. You screwed me up.
Siri,
I'm gonna
if
lose
the
this
word Bemis is said,
one. Oh, yeah, when
that's
the word
safe
Bemis.
word.
Science teacher, wasn't he?
I believe so. And I mean, he was just like one or two doors down from Mr. Church.
I remember Mr. Church.
And he was so embarrassed when we all found out his first name. Do you guys remember what his first name was?
Dolph.
Dolph.
Rudolph.
Yes.
Rudolph.
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 Rudolph, yeah.
And everybody thought it was Adolf.
I'm kind of learning today that it wasn't Adolf.
It was Rudolph.
Okay, my apologies.
Super
The
nice
church
guy.
family.
One of the best teachers. He was a great guy.
Not the first time I've had to apologize in church.
He was a nut. He was straight up a nut. He would like open the cans of whatever chemical we were gonna work with, and he'd be like, "Now you don't want to smell this one," and he'd take a big whiff, contort his face up.
What did he look like? I'm trying to remember him.
He was a
redhead, yeah, ginger guy with mustache.
Kind of looked like a cannibal.
Like a cannibal. What does a cannibal look like?
Mr.
Everybody
Mr.
else.
Church, I guess. Yeah, like everybody else, I thought.
They blend in.
Tim Meadows.
Like a serial killer.
I remember he started a fire we were doing an experiment, and I can't remember what he made, but it might have been thermite.
Breaking Bad.
But it filled
Kidding.
it filled the
One day they'll make a
classroom with
movie.
so much smoke that we had to go outside.
Oh my gosh.
And this guy named Airman Trout showed up.
What about Mr. Stutz with his
Oh, stop.
with his?
Oh, his comb over.
Well, no. It was more of a wraparound.
It was,
He had like
it was an all-over comb over.
what do you call you put on your head in Middle East?
A turban?
Turban. Yeah, he had like a
yes,
hair turban.
Hair turban. Oh,
What's funny about
I still remember Mr. Stutz's class, Mark. Like 8th grade, 9th grade. You rewrote the lyrics to "The Cradle of Love" by Billy Idol to "Spank the Monkey of Love."
That doesn't sound like me.
No, Mark would
exactly
never
like
do that.
And you talked Mr. Stutz into allowing you to read the lyrics to the entire class aloud. And you're all, I still remember you just standing in, like as serious as you can be. And you're
Wow.
like, "Spank the monkey of love."
He's
the
like,
monkey
"Sure,
of
go
love.
ahead."
Don't spank easily. What the heck?
I see no harm in this. Go ahead, Mark. Continue.
Seems okay.
This seems totally on the up and up.
I remember he got mad at me one time because he used to allow extra credit that you could write like 100-word essays on different articles that he, different science articles. And if you read the article and wrote a 100-word essay, you got extra credit in the class. So I did a bunch of them, and then on one of them I wrote halfway through, "If you're actually reading this, please put a gold star, or please put a star in the upper right-hand corner of the paper." In the middle of the, just to see if he was actually reading it. Mm-hmm. So we get to the end, and there's no marking on the paper that he actually read it. So I walked up and showed it to him, what I had written in there, and he said, "You little shit," and gave me the finger.
Awesome. Oh my gosh. Okay, so you already talked about Coach Knudsen.
That's an hour right there. Coach Knudsen,
Easily.
when my brothers were in junior high, they're 8 and 10 years older than me. Coach, if you had gym the last hour, he'd shower with the boys. That is a true story.
With the boys.
With the boys.
Oh,
He got
my
sweaty
gosh.
too, so
Wow.
true story.
That's messed up.
Yep.
We should tell this story about how he saved Tim Carnan's life.
From you?
Yeah, from me.
Okay. In the shower?
Yeah, Tim.
Well, this got weird.
No, it was not in the shower.
Oh, good.
Tim had a really endearing nickname for me in 7th grade.
I think
Was it 7th or 8th grade? I can't remember. Anyway, really cute little nickname for me. He called me Lard Ass.
From Stand By Me?
Yeah, something. Anyway, and so I had enough of it one day, just the teasing, and I grabbed little Tim.
Tim
by
is
the
definitely
throat.
listening.
Hey, Tim.
Hey,
Tim loves this story. But Tim and I are so good now, so there's
Good.
no hard feelings. But I picked Tim up by the throat and was proceeding to squeeze the life out of him. And the entire time I'm choking him, he's saying, "Lard."
That's the most Tim story ever. Oh my gosh.
It is the most Tim story ever. And Coach Knudsen happened to walk by right as I'm squeezing the life out of him. "You guys knocked that off." And that's how Tim got his life saved.
You boys knock that off. Let's all take a shower together.
Knocking it off right now, sir.
Let me tell you some.
I'll stop being
You guys
choked.
lather up
about
in makeup.
I still remember when he threw us out of the
Crazy.
9th grade dance. because we were moshing to "Smells Like Teen Spirit,"
I
which
forgot.
He threw you out?
He threw us out, and as we're walking out, you know, he tells us to get out the door, right? And as we're walking out the door, I believe the gentleman to my right here had the wisdom to yell "F you" on the way out the door.
Oh.
And you know,
It sounds like something that guy would have
sounds
done.
like, yeah, it sounds like something. And so
You're the right.
he makes us go all the way to the office, chases us to the office, and then tells who was the principal our 9th grade year. It was the big dude that used to be at the high school.
Oh, Jet?
I think it was Jensen. I think his last name was Jensen.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
D. Jensen.
D. Jensen, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Coach Knutson was like, these guys were slam dancing in the you know, at the school dance, you know, and you knew it because nobody was dancing at a school dance. It was 9th grade dance. Nobody danced.
Nobody danced.
And he's just, coming out of his nose, they were slam dancing. And I'm like, slam dancing? What is this, 1979? You know?
Really, he had a high voice for such a hairy man.
Yeah.
Well, it would get higher the more mad he got.
The more mad he got.
And he's like,
As the blood
and then as
pressure
I was
rose, so did
escorting
his
him out,
voice.
I heard one of them yell "F you," and
Did he say F you or?
he said it. Yeah, he said it. And I still remember D. Jensen like wanting to make a point, but totally screwing up the delivery, and like pointing at the door and saying, "Gentlemen, there's the door. See it?" We're like, "Yeah." "Well, why don't you leave?" "Okay."
Make like a tree and get out of here.
"Out of here." "You already played my request, so we're good."
Oh, I forgot.
Walked out and I'm like, "Hey, Aaron, next time we're getting thrown out of a dance, don't scream F you."
That was pure teenage angst right there.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, it smells like Teen Spirit.
Yeah. Oh,
Who
yeah.
isn't gonna mosh? It smells like, or slam dance. I'm sorry.
Yes, because 1983 called.
Right?
They want their dance. Just snort.
That is awesome.
Some powerful Dr. Pepper.
That's good stuff.
Okay, so the worst thing I ever had to see Knutson do. Do you guys remember the autistic kid Robert? He was.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. You remember Robert? Yeah. He's
Yes.
super nice, super friendly. Couldn't say a word, but
Yeah.
I mean this. Okay, pardon my PG-13, but this kid was hung like a horse, and he loved wearing really short shorts. Do you guys remember this? Oh, see, Gil remembers.
Oh, I remember.
Gil remembers. And
I literally have no recollection of this
No
one.
recollection
I'm gonna sit this one out, guys. Do tell.
no, me and Eric Davis, little Asian Eric
Eric.
Davis, best guy ever. We and Ryan Bullock. We were trying our
Cousin of
hardest.
Jim J. Bullock, by the way.
Oh, very nice. He and Robert kept coming over to us. We're just like, we cannot. I mean, it's just there, and your eyes want to wander, and you're just like, you're impressed at the same time, and
Impressed and sad.
Try to act like you're not impressed.
exactly. It's like, you lucky man. And one day he just, we were playing basketball. Oh no, so half the group was playing basketball, and the other was doing laps. And he just bends over and vomits all over the floor. And it just keeps coming and coming and coming. And Knutson has to go over there, and he's like, there. You're like patting him on the back. No idea what to do. And I mean, this kid, there were like giant chunks of hot dogs coming out. This kid did not chew a single bit of this lunch. And we were just dying. And Knutson is like just covered in hot dog vomit. And we're like, okay, everything this guy's ever said or done to us is being forgiven, because I know he's not getting paid enough to deal with this right now. And we
his
felt
poor
so
gym
bad.
floor. He loved that thing.
I bet he had to shower off with the boys after that.
Sure he did. Look at me, boys. Scoot over.
Let's go get you cleaned up.
It's good
Real
to get you cleaned
good,
up,
real
Robert.
good.
Their teeth.
Seriously.
Some things are inside thoughts.
We have intrusive thoughts and
Inside
extrusive thoughts. The key is to keep the intrusive on the inside.
Oh, but man, we were dying. We're like, this is burned into my memory forever. I
I will never forget this.
will never forget this. This is a core memory you know, just like Inside
Smoking
Out.
Joe had a tender spot.
He did.
There.
Rip.
There.
Rip. Smoking Joe.
Rip
That
Smoking
was
Joe.
what? Was that like 5-6 years ago?
Did he
Yeah.
die?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
passed
he's-
away.
He must have been pushing it. I mean, wasn't a young spring chicken when we were there.
No, he wasn't.
He also got fired like 4 times for hitting kids. That's true.
Oh, wow.
Is it true?
He got I don't know about 4. He got fired multiple times for hitting kids.
And they
They'd
just loved him
always
so
hire
much
him
they
back.
brought him back.
Like, "Hey, did you change?
Yes.
Do you feel bad about it? Okay, come on
Yes.
back. There.
Have you hit any kids lately?
You are
Have
forgiven.
you hit any
What
kids
time
today?
is it today?
Yeah, since noon? No.
Are the kids you hit in the room with us now?
Blink twice for yes.
You know, I'm surprised he didn't hit me because I was.
Are we sure he didn't?
It was so hard. We
got-
actually all saw him hit you.
I got in
just don't
hot water
remember.
with Smoking Joe because during student elections, I was voting in his class, and Randy and I don't remember who else,
Yeah, I set you up for that one. I apologize.
decided to write in Spanky the Psychotic Baboon. So he gets all the ballots back in, and he had looked over them all, and he said, "All right, we had 2 incomplete ballots, one that was filled out wrong, and 1 vote for Spanky the Psychotic Baboon. Who voted for Spanky?" And I was like, "I'm gonna die." But I
This is
knew
where it ends.
this is how I know I'm a good dude, because I knew he would torture the whole class if I didn't just come clean. So I owned it. All 120 pounds of me owned it. And he took me outside and gave me a lecture about democracy and the right to vote.
Wow.
He had some of those lectures just ready to go at a moment's notice. I got a number of those in his office. I got a lot of those from Gisman too.
Gisman was, I mean, he was a pretty good guy.
Was he the
he was.
principal with glasses?
No,
That was Tom
Mr.
Price.
That was Mr.
Oh,
Price.
yeah, Mr. Price. Did he have a big mustache?
Big old mustache.
Yeah, he looked
Yeah.
like the mustache and glasses you put on.
Yeah. Like, he was always in disguise. We never knew what he really looked like.
Nobody still does. He was the Zodiac Killer.
You know,
Sorry, Mr. Price, for you listening to this.
He's probably dead too. I mean, well, I know. I mean, he was probably like early
he's
50s.
So
He's
when I
probably
was
still
in
around.
9th grade, I did the ski school program thing, and I went to learn how to snowboard, and was up there and like wrecked my snowboard, and was up on the mountain for like hours, and got pulled in by ski patrol. Like they thought I had broken ribs, and they put me in an ambulance and sent me down, sent me to Cottonwood Hospital. Wrecked him. Damn near killed him. And so my dad goes down to the junior high to pick up my stuff because all my stuff was still on the bus. And he goes walking in and he's like, "Yeah, I'm Randy Jensen's dad. I'm here to pick up his stuff that was on the bus." And the lady at the front desk goes, "Wait, you're Randy Jensen's dad?" She's like, "Yeah." And she goes running back, says, "Just a second," goes running back and talks to Mr. Price. And my dad still tells the story. He's like, "I saw this look on his face. He looked up from the back office like he'd just seen a ghost." And he's like, "Oh my gosh, what am I going to tell this guy?" And so he comes out and he's like, "Mr. Jensen, I don't know exactly what to say, but about Randy." And my dad's like, "Yeah, he's out in the car waiting for me. I just want to get his stuff." He's like, "Wait, he's in the car?" I said, "Yeah." "You have him with you?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Hang on," and goes running back and picks up the phone, and he hears him say, "Yeah, I guess he's down here now. You can send the bus." So there was a bus sitting there waiting for me, and they thought they lost me on the mountain. Meanwhile, the ski patrol, I'm like, the ski patrol put me in an ambulance, and then the ski patrol's like, "Yeah, we lost a kid on the mountain." And I'm like, "Maybe the one you put in the ambulance."
Well, consider who the ski patrol is.
Yeah, I guess that's par for the course. But yeah, that was Mr. Price. My dad, my 90-year-old father, 89-year-old father, still has fond memories of that day.
Is your dad really 90?
He's in his Icelandic 90th year is what he calls it.
Icelandic.
Well, because in Iceland they say that you are, you turn 89, so you're now in your 90th year, so you say you're 90. So he turned 89 in August, and so he's in his 90th year. So he's Icelandic 90.
How many brothers and sisters do you have?
103. Yeah, I'm the
Are you
youngest
a
of 7.
Dalmatian?
I'm the youngest of 7.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What's the next oldest sibling above
So
you?
my next oldest sister is like 4 years older than me, and then it's almost another 4 years to my brother. So I kind of grew up almost like a
Only child.
yeah, because I was a definite trailer. I mean,
Yeah.
me and my sister grew up pretty close to each other, but still like never in the same school because we were 4 years
Yeah.
apart, you know. But yeah, so it's weird because I grew up in a big family, but it kind of felt like I grew up as an only child a bit. just
But
because
Randy,
there was
you
so much
weren't an
difference.
accident. You were planned.
Yeah.
Hey,
okay.
we have one of those, and he was planned. It was pure inspiration. And now that we have him, the inspiration's gone. I've been fixed, and things are different. You know, it's great. Inspiration's gone. But, you know, it happens. It happens.
Sometimes inspiration, sometimes lack of medication. It happens.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. All right. So, Mark,
Yo.
tell us about your infatuation with Wayne's World in junior year. I mean, you were Wayne from Wayne's World.
I guess it was just a Mike Myers thing because I later became infatuated with Austin Powers. Won an Austin Powers look-alike contest.
The first time I came to visit you after you got back from your mission, you recited the whole testicle shearing.
The Dr. Evil
Yeah.
thing.
It was a great movie.
I mean,
Great
you-
soundtrack.
Yes, this is true.
Oh, but Wayne's World, you got to go like, remember how Saturday Night Live was like our first experience with appointment television, like staying up all night just to make sure you didn't miss SNL, and then on Monday at school, just talking about every SNL sketch that was on. Oh, did you see they did this? Did you see that? You know, and if they didn't do Wayne's World, like, oh man, I was hoping for a Wayne's World this weekend, but they didn't do it.
I mean, Mark had the hat, grew his hair out and everything. It
Yeah.
was so funny. I
Fine
mean,
film.
you know, it wouldn't have been a good nostalgia trip if we didn't talk about your infatuation there. But you did it. You pulled it off. I mean, it was fantastic.
Made it in the
thought you were
yearbook.
he.
Standing next to Aaron.
That's right. And the big wide
big-
picture of everybody.
The
I think you
panoramic.
remember. Yeah, the panoramic.
Somebody found that recently. What
They tagged us all in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Put
think
on
it was
Facebook.
maybe
Was it-
Jamie Lloyd.
was it? Jamie or was it Debbie Strebel?
Oh yeah, it might have been Debbie.
Debbie
Somebody
Gaines.
awesome.
Two sweethearts.
Exactly. They're
Wonderful
just the
people.
best. Oh my goodness. Okay, so last person, and she is still there. Did you have Miss Haight?
I remember Miss Haight.
My children had
She's
Miss Haight.
still there?
She's still there.
I think
Not at
our
all,
8th
no.
grade was maybe her first year of teaching.
That's what I thought too, because I remember her being pretty young, and you know we ruined her, made her feel terrible about teaching right off the
We
bat.
did that to a lot of teachers, Nick. Don't single out one.
I blamed them for choosing teaching as a profession.
It really is. You
It's
should
on
have had
them.
them.
Yep, we went to parent-teacher conference, and there's Miss Haight, and she just, looked exactly the same, just aged.
She's like, Nick
And-
Jacobs,
yeah.
I named grandkids after you.
I was very popular amongst the teenagers, those very young teachers. No, but it was awesome. It was fun to see her. And Mr. Seeley.
Oh,
Yes. Did he had all his fingers, right?
Yeah.
He always made the joke, but I couldn't remember. Was he actually missing fingers
I don't
from
think
that bandsaw he always warned us about?
So I know. Wow. Okay. So I could get in a lot of trouble here telling this story. I'm going to be as
What's the statute of
delicate.
limitations?
I'm going to be as delicate as I possibly can. But I happen to know that Mr. Seeley was not missing any fingers, because the last time I saw him, let's just say he was a veil worker at the Jordan River Temple.
Oh, there you go.
That one shocked me.
Probably shocked him too.
Shocked him a little more. But that's been 20 years ago.
He was a neighbor of Tim and Desiree.
Was he
It's
really?
like their next door neighbor and the first house that they bought, I think.
That's so crazy.
I shouldn't be speaking for Tim, but I think that's...
We should speak for Tim.
Okay, we should speak for Tim.
I hated that
Okay,
guy.
so it's always weird when you see your teacher outside of school that'd be really weird to watch him come into church.
That's a good segue into teachers we would have dated.
Mr.
We already
Silly.
talked about Miss Schnibby, Mark.
Chewy.
I can.
Chewy. Wasn't she the girls' gym teacher?
She
And
sure
she
was.
checked all the stereotypes. If we're just gonna leave it there. Check, check, check.
Yep.
She had the big beehive bouffant hair. It might not have been beehive, but definitely big and bouffant.
It maybe like lost some height between the 60s and the 90s. But
This is where I didn't understand when like people were getting in trouble for dating teachers like in the last couple decades, because I legit can't think of a teacher that I even found attractive.
Right.
Like it just
Dad,
didn't
can
line
you
up.
come with me?
What for?
I just want you to come.
Yeah, what for?
'Cause
You'll find out when we get there.
Is something broken?
Not yet.
No.
Is something on fire?
Is someone in a well?
Is Timmy in the well?
Is it Ricky Tikki Tembo?
No, I just want you to see.
Love that
Watch him.
Okay. Give me a few minutes, okay?
Okay. It's totally about dinosaurs.
Dude, he
Totally
spoiled
about
it.
dinosaurs.
Come on,
Spoiler
man.
alert.
Help my brother out.
Totally about dinosaurs.
Totally about dinosaurs. My
That was
goodness.
awesome. Oh man, I do miss 5-year-olds though, man. Bingham, there's an 8-year gap between him and my next oldest, Simon, and so Bingham was just always kind of raised by bigger kids. He went from little kid toys just to right to the big kid stuff. He's always wanted to just do big kid stuff. So he just kind of grew up way too fast, and we miss some of those things. I love hearing that stuff.
Yeah, he's so much fun to have. There's 15 years between he and my next oldest.
Oh wow, that's a really
Wow.
big gap. How many kids do you have?
I have 4 total.
Nice.
They range in age from my oldest just turned 28.
28?
Yep.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, got started early.
Yeah, you did.
She was born like roughly 2 weeks before my 20th birthday.
Mm-hmm.
So we got pregnant, I don't know, within the first 2 months of being married.
That is really quick.
It was really quick.
Yeah.
It was unexpected by me.
Sorry, I'm playing the game. I'm not sitting here in shock. I'm
Sitting in shock.
What do I say to that?
No, my first wife wanted to have a baby, and so
So you did, and just
So
quickly.
she used a tack on your condoms. Okay, let's
Seriously.
call it what it was.
That is so soon. I mean, you're barely even getting to know each other, and then you throw a baby in there. That's
right.
That's a way to get into it.
Yeah, we had to talk about that.
Evidently, you didn't have the talk, is what
And
I'm
we
hearing.
had the talk, but she just wanted.
Well,
what she
dude, when a
wanted.
man loves a woman,
All right,
when a
so-
woman loses a bet.
You guys got to help me remember. Where was the Hail Satan sign? I remember it.
It was Satin
Satin,
Loves You.
yeah,
and
Satin
it, was
Loves
in the, it was just in the hall, like in the main hallway.
Wait, wasn't that was Steve Mandarino, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It because the whole allegedly.
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 Don't kill me.
Yeah, the whole school was just it was like spray paint all over the school, but I think they like
They
I
left
thought
it
the
up
hail
for a
satin
while.
was outside on the back of the gym.
I remember it was on lockers. It was on lockers.
It was in multiple places. It wasn't just misspelled one time.
well, I mean there was a Hail Satin and a Satin Loves You.
Oh, yeah.
somewhere.
Satin loves.
And then and I'm like, yeah, it
Satin
really
lives.
is comfortable.
Satin
lives.
lives.
But there was graffiti everywhere in the school. Like they hit the whole thing. I
Who
mean,
remembers the fire in 7th grade?
Didn't Newcomb do that, Rusty? I thought, or something.
I don't remember.
Wait, which fire?
Yeah.
There were multiple. I don't remember any fire.
So I was relatively new at the school, and there were fire alarms every day. It seemed like,
Someone's always pulling it.
and it was so
That's
bad
probably
that
true.
what was his name, Mr. Wayman, the band teacher.
oh yeah.
He wouldn't let us out of class
For a
because-
fire alarm,
For a
yeah.
fire alarm, and it wasn't until black smoke started to billow.
We were in band together
We
on
were
that
band
one.
together. Yep,
Wow. So there was a real fire. I
it
don't
was a
remember
real
that.
fire. And so we basically hung out outside for the rest of the day.
Dude, Mr. Wayman, you talk about an overqualified band teacher for middle school. Like,
Super talented guy.
super talented guy, super good teacher for music. Probably punched one of us at one point because he had a short fuse.
He had a short fuse.
He was. What's the J.K. Simmons band teacher movie that just came out?
Whiplash.
Yeah, Whiplash. He was Whiplash. I think.
Wow.
I need to see that.
But
That's so
I
good.
never saw him as a human being because I was scared of him.
I was frightened of him. I was on his good side. But I mean, you talk about like the level of stuff he made us learn about music. Like I still use it all the time when my kids will ask me a question about I remember stuff about music from that band class. Like it was
Wow.
it was the same level that we were learning in as a junior in high school in band. There we were learning in 7th grade.
Huh.
But yeah, then mixed with a little life-threatening violence.
I was too busy writing down.
Too busy putting Skittles in the baritone.
There was that, but no, I was too busy writing down my slide positions because I never learned how to read music.
I never learned how to read music.
Dad never hugged me, and I never learned how to read music.
I'll teach you how to read music, Aaron. Would you
will?
like to learn now?
Sure.
It's never too
Okay.
late.
It's never
Every
too
good
late.
boy does fine, right?
That's right.
Good boys do
son.
find always, Bass Club.
Oh my gosh.
Band class was my favorite part of school.
It was
The
fun.
only thing I missed, aside from the social aspects of high school, it's the only thing I missed about high school.
So, did you guys slough and go to Take 5?
I went to Take 5 a lot.
Was it just because it was cool, or was the food actually good? I don't really remember.
Well, I think it was because it was close. Like for me, I lived like 3rd East, 53rd South. So
Oh, you were there all the time.
we just walked down. Like Mark would come over to my house, and we'd have, we'd pool together a couple bucks and go down and split a fry. Remember that, Mark?
Yep.
Ooh, they did have good fries. I do remember that.
No, I think Take 5 was decent food.
It was your typical greasy spoon, like every restaurant like that still exists.
Yeah.
You know?
Just like an iceberg or.
Yeah, it
whatever
was
else.
exactly like all those places.
Do you
You guys are
remember
making me
Buddies?
hungry.
Oh yeah, Buddies on State Street.
I worked at
yeah.
Buddy's.
Buddies.
You
Who worked there, Buddies?
I worked at Buddy's summer between sophomore and junior year.
Nice.
I was a shake maker.
Oh, that's an excellent segue. I wanted to talk about our first jobs that we had. So, Randy, you were a radio DJ?
Yep, in high school I was a radio DJ at KKDS, the Imagination Station, the kids' radio station.
Oh, that's right. How did you get into that?
So my
And when did you do it? Like, was it just after school or?
Yeah, so I worked like the 6 to 10 shift, and would work like Monday through Wednesdays, and then I would also work Saturday mornings when they didn't have somebody else to cover. And when I had like a 2-hour on-air show, and then had a 2 hours where I would just like operate the boards and make sure the radio station stayed on the air while they were running off a radio network.
Mm-hmm.
And then like would make commercials for the next day. And
Did you have an online persona?
Ridiculous Randy, the
Ridiculous
guy with the face for radio.
That is awesome.
I got into it. My brother worked there. He was the morning host. And so he had me come and help fill in a couple of times when he had something going on. And then they were looking for somebody to run the boards at night. And the owner was like, "Hey, would you like to do this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely."
Heck yeah.
So I helped. Yeah, at the time too, like the Dare cops had what was called Dare on the Air. And so I would help them once a week do the Dare on the Air show. And it was cool. It was fun. It was an awesome high school job because during those 2 hours at night, I could, I would just had to listen to the radio and make sure it stayed on the air.
Just
and
do
could sit there and do homework.
Yeah.
You did homework in high school?
Or on Monday nights, Justin Morgan would come over, haul in a full-on console TV, the two of us, set it up and watch Monday Night Football.
Speaking of Dare, shouldn't we congratulate Drugs on winning the
On winning the war on drugs.
The drugs won, folks.
They did.
Turns out.
Turns out the drugs are really effective at being drugs.
Yeah, that was awesome high school job.
Van Halen didn't teach me anything. Those stupid assembly.
I think Aaron and Gil and I all had the same first job, if I'm not mistaken.
What was it?
American Surveys.
What was that?
doing political surveys.
For the 92 elections. Te gusta George Bush or Bill Clinton?
Was it like a call center type thing?
Yeah, it was a call center downtown in an exchange place, and all the punks in the valley worked there.
Yeah, I never got hired there.
Oh, you didn't? Oh.
No.
All right, Aaron and I
Yeah.
had the
Gil
same
was
first
way
job.
too intense for those guys.
Didn't that turn into PIC, Public Interest Communication,
It didn't turn into it, but PIC was another one of the call center.
that everybody
Jobs.
went to after American Surveys?
Yep.
Okay.
That, however, wasn't my first job.
Ah.
My first job was in the 4th grade.
Working
Running
in the coal
guns for
mine.
swapping the hogs.
No, I got a job with some neighbors. So this is again in Lake Town, Utah.
Ah, yes.
There was Parnell's meat packing plant.
Better
Shout
than-
out to the Lillywhites in Lake Town, Utah.
Nice.
They were my neighbors, and they had a gig where the kids, the oldest was 16. His name was Roy, and then some teenagers, and down to, I guess I was probably the youngest, but I was 4th grade, and we would go and we would clean the meat packing plant at night.
And they'd send you to Mexico once a month, and you had to swallow these balloons full of heroin.
Seriously, this is 4th grade.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Poor Tom, one of his balloons broke one time, and he just died on us on the way back. No, we got
Poor
paid.
Tom.
I got paid $3 an hour to clean up just the most awful things.
Oh wow.
Got to learn about death. Got to learn about the meat industry. Got to.
You learned where hot dogs came
I
from.
learned where hot dogs came from.
Wow.
Got to dress up in a coverall suit and wade into a holding pen that was literally up to my knees in cow manure and clean this thing out with a big hose.
Which prepared you for your next job, McDonald's.
It's pretty much the same thing.
I mean, the next job was the political surveys. So, I mean,
Yeah, shoveling crap.
Aaron had
Literal shit.
7 jobs by the time he was in junior high.
Jeez. Yeah. So
we
my
did
first
both
job,
jobs, but
my dad was a general contractor all growing up, and he woke me up one day. He's like, "Hey, I'm going to go out on a job. You want to come with me and just make some money?" I'm 13. And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." This is back when I rented Nintendos on the weekends, because I couldn't quite get my own one. So I'm like, "Yeah, I need some money." So we go to the plumbing shop, and I'm walking up and down the aisles, just kind of looking at things. The next thing I hear is, "So when can you start?" I'm like, "What?" My dad waves at me. He's like, "I got you a job. We'll pick you up later." And he gets in his truck and drives away. I'm like, I guess I'm doing this now.
Oh, Dad did you wrong.
Oh, he did. But I know how to do plumbing now. I actually did it all the way up to my mission. I mean, I was there for 6 years. I did it on
Oh, wow.
every weekend, and like on Wednesdays or something. It was some random thing. So we did like
what
half
were
days
you
or
like-
something like that.
Like soldering copper pipes?
Yeah. I was a sprinkler tech. Then I just went out and was like a tool boy, but they taught me how to do plumbing and stuff. So it was actually really beneficial. But I mean, they were foul-mouthed plumbers. So I'm in school going
Learned all
to
your swear words.
oh, so many things I didn't know. I go to seminary during the week, and then horrible plumber mouths during the weekend. I'm like, I am a man of two worlds. But it was
Forgive
good.
me, Bishop, for I
Or I have plumbed.
Forgive me for I have plumbed.
Wait, are we talking about your job here or something else?
I swear, Bishop. I swear. But I mean, it was hard not to giggle when you find out about male and female parts and sprinkler nipples, and oh man, it made for a whole lot of dumb jokes.
Sprinkler nipples. That sounds like a ska band.
Ladies and gentlemen, please.
Sprinkler nipple.
Sprinkler nipple.
Thank you so much today. Skink and pipple. Skink and pipple.
Skank and pimples? What?
And sprinkler nipples. Oh, seriously. All right, so high school. We all finally get to high school.
Best 7 years of my life.
I'm no dummy, but I've been here.
Don't tell me.
Best thing about high school girls, I get older and older, they stay the same age. What's that, Disney Confused?
Who are some of your favorite teachers going in 10th grade? People who actually really made a lasting impression. Mine, I loved Mr. Drake. And I think he died, actually. Did you guys have Mr. Drake, English teacher?
Yeah, I like Drake.
Yeah, he was awesome. But I think he died. That's what I heard. I think my son Ian told me that. He was like, yeah, I had him for a year, and then it was pretty recently. But he was awesome. Also,
I don't remember.
did you guys know Glow Merrill? She just died recently. She was actually a counselor there. She helped me get through kind of a hard time. I don't know if you guys knew this, but I had a girlfriend and a best friend, and they started dating each other behind my back in high school.
Oh, wow.
It was a little rough. I won't say any names. Protect the innocent, you know. But they were not
in this room
innocent.
now.
Mark.
Sorry.
Mark and I
You
kind
said innocent.
of. There's no innocence there.
My brother married my girlfriend while I was on my mission.
Are you serious?
Remember
Yeah.
that.
No way.
Oh yeah.
That's awkward.
That's a different.
That's a different podcast.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic story. But yes, we'll have to have you back and tell us that one. That's pretty wild. Okay, so who else? What other teachers do you guys love from high school?
Did anyone else have Mr. Barnett for history?
Yes.
Barnett.
Yes. Such a good dude. Such a
Yeah.
good history teacher.
He taught history because he lived life like he was there.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, I had Mr. Hamolia.
Oh yeah.
I think that was his name. He died too, actually. He
remember
He died in the classroom. and
That's
they didn't.
what I heard.
They didn't find him till after fall break.
Oh my gosh.
I don't think it was that long.
I don't think it was that.
But Rip still.
Yeah. His son Stephen Hamolia. I think he was a year older than us.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a nice guy. I loved him, but Barnett though, is that what you said? I don't think I remember.
I remember because he was like from Missouri, and so he taught the Civil War from a Southern perspective. It's kind of interesting. It's interesting to hear,
The worst thing we ever did was get rid of slavery. Whoa, what?
I mean,
It wasn't like
nowadays
that,
we've
right?
learned a
I
little
mean, it was
more
like
but, yeah.
not really a supporter of the South, but a
No,
Nowadays,
he was a supporter. He owned slaves.
wow. Didn't know they still did that in high school. What high school did you go to?
What'd you do?
Yes, Tater.
I really need you to come.
You do.
He
Aaron
really
broke
wants
the
to show you
remote.
something amazing.
What are you looking at?
You have to come and see for
Is it
yourself.
dinosaurs still?
Yeah, come.
Oh, I know what he's talking about. It is pretty cool. I mean, you're more than welcome to step out and go look at
Right
it.
back.
We've got this whole
Amongst yourselves.
Hot Wheels track, and it's got all these dinosaurs that like those Rube Goldberg machines. It's kind of like that. They all trigger each other, and it shoots the Hot Wheels in the different directions. It's pretty cool. I think he's been setting that up for an hour in there. Very cool. All right, excursions. Did you guys ever go up to Hobbitville in high school?
Hobbitville.
It's up across from Westminster College, and it was just like supposedly this place where all these murders happen and all this stuff. You guys never went to Hobbitville?
Not during high school. I went after.
Oh, okay. Because it's like now just like this open park now. You can just go at any time, and it was really just like this bed and breakfast kind of place that you could go at any time, but it was this local legend that was literally nothing. And that was shocking. I was a little bummed when I find out, but you can just go there and walk around it. It's pretty cool. They have all these little bungalows and stuff, but it's all cleaned
I
up.
don't know what's wrong with it either.
Kind of ruined this whole facade that I had, going on in my mind.
Considered it.
Were you guys at the smokestacks coming down?
I watched it on TV live.
I think I lived in Idaho at the time.
Did anyone climb the smokestacks?
I wish I would have. I never did.
That was a thing?
I work with a guy who was graduated 2 years after us. We lived parallel lives. We're both DJs. We grew up on the same street, but he went to a different elementary school. So we didn't really, I played with him one time as a kid, Dylan Alvey. but he climbed the smokestacks.
How do you climb the smokestacks?
You get a ladder to where you can get on the
there was
permanent
a
ladder that's on there, and
Yeah,
How
there's a
did
ladder
we
up the
find
side, but
grappling
you had to
hook?
get a ladder to get to the ladder.
Yeah.
You had to jump a fence to get to the ladder. I don't know why she swallowed the fly.
He got on the ladder and I got on the ladder. That's crazy. I didn't even know you could do that. That sounds terrifying.
you're
They were-
not supposed to.
Yeah, I can imagine. But they were huge. Yeah, we went and saw it live. It was pretty cool. But then we're like, how many 100 years of horrible things just got shot into the air, and we're all just sitting here going, wow, it's so cool. But it was pretty cool, Let's see. All right, so what organizations you got? Mark, you were SBO. What were you over? What was your title?
I was a student body vice president.
You were VP. Okay. And
Yeah.
was Jessica
She was
president?
class.
She was
class
class
president.
That's right. And so you're like with
Finn Robbins,
Finn
Adrian
Robbins,
Poole.
Adrian Poole,
What's that girl's name? Oh yeah, Mindy Kidd.
Mindy. Mindy.
And
Hey Nick, can you fix this real quick?
Did you guys break it?
I broke it. It's me.
Wendy Christensen, of course.
Yes.
Aaron, press
This
the
is
wrong
why
button.
I'm not a gamer dad.
Did you guys want to go back to Tetris?
Yeah.
Oh, I see what happened. You just accidentally logged in. There you go.
And now it's not.
When you press X, it doesn't accept his X.
Oh, hit your X.
Oh,
There you
we
go. You guys-
switched.
You switched sides. for
We
some
traded
reason.
places.
Traded
See that?
places.
Oh, jeez.
Now it's
Oh,
gonna be
man,
all
it's
sorts
gonna-
of confusing.
Oh,
I'm
jeez.
so confused now.
I'm lost.
All right, and then we were in Madrigals together. Did you do acapella also?
Acapella.
Did we have to do acapella?
I think you had to do
Yeah,
both.
that's what I kind of remember. The acapella trips were always a blast. We went on the cruise.
Yep, that
One
was a
of the
good time.
best days of my life was ruined by one of the sickest things I've ever seen. So some of the cutest girls in the school come to my we're on a cruise to where did we go? Ensenada.
Ensenada, yeah.
Yes. They knock on my door. They're like, Nick, let's go swimming. I'm like, sweet. We get into the pool, and within like 15 seconds, this guy dives into the shallow end and cracks his face open on the bottom of the pool. He comes up, and he's just gushing blood, and the girls are like freaking out, screaming, and they're running away. I'm like,
You're like, you ruined my chance,
yeah,
buddy.
I'm like, that was short-lived.
Way to go, blocker.
So what girls were you with?
I was so bummed. It was Christine. Oh gosh, what was her last name? Blah, 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 blah. Oh man, now I gotta go way back. Christine, Robin, and I can only remember their first names, and I can't remember who the third person was. Oh, you had to ask.
Sorry.
All right, it'll come to me. Anyway, it was horrible. But the trip was super fun. I am on a cruise with my friends. This is just so fun. You like the poor girls who were like seasick and couldn't even come out of their cabin for the whole time. Felt really bad for those girls.
You know, that was one thing I feel like I missed out on in high school, is I was never a part of any organization that went on a trip.
Didn't the
You
band
didn't
do a
go
trip?
to band camp?
Well, the years that they did, I was not in band anymore because I dropped out of band so I could do drama like my senior year, and I think they went somewhere my senior year.
I didn't know you dropped out of band.
Well, because I was kind of invited to leave.
Oh,
You're
by
free to go
Mr.
at any
Appleton?
time.
Yeah, because I couldn't come to a jazz band performance because I was in a play that was playing the same night. And he said, you know, I had you sign something 8 years ago that said you would never do anything else, you know. And so I'm like, so
I had to lock you down.
well, the jazz band was playing at somebody's ward Christmas party, and I was supposed to be in Best Christmas Pageant Ever that night. And he's like, well, no, somebody else will have to do your part. I'm like, we only have like 3 performances. Now, somebody can do my jazz band part because literally everybody plays the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, and he was like, that's not how it goes. And told me I need to leave jazz band after that semester, which also meant, you know, basically leaving band altogether. So I
Wow.
became a permanent drama guy.
What did you play?
The trumpet.
Trumpet, that's right. I remember that.
Still accepting invitations. Anyone trying to start a ska band? I'm still ready.
I
I can play trombone.
I play bass. I slap at the bass.
we just started a band.
We're there.
That is awesome.
Let's not have artistic differences. I can't handle that.
Nick, I was on the way over. I was trying to remember because I remember you being in music, but I couldn't remember whether you were band or orchestra.
I did cello,
Oh,
and then I traded it in after graduation for the bass, and had a much more fun time. I mean, cello is great and all, but once you start rocking out, playing Muse, and they're my favorite band, but it just feels so good. Just go a little deaf,
Oh, you're among friends.
I mean, you saw my living room upstairs. We go deaf as a family now.
I still remember, it was 5 years ago, me and Mark got together and went and saw Streetlight Manifesto at the Old Murray Theater.
Nice.
And actually, it's probably more than 6 or 7 years ago now. And we were both just our ears were completely rocked the next day. It was a really bad sound system. And so our ears were completely rocked, and we were just texting each other the next day going, "Can you hear anything?" No.
What?
Isn't it awesome? Yes.
That's like our Chili Peppers experience.
Oh man. See, but I mean, I love loud music, but when it is too loud, oh my! We went to a Greta Van Fleet concert, and it was amazing. I mean, they were so much fun, but you're wincing at some of the notes. You're just like, man, I felt like a real old man that night, but it was too much.
If you're to ask my kids how loud does Dad like music, the line is, he doesn't like it loud enough to hear it. He likes it loud enough to taste it.
Yeah, I mean, usually I agree with that. I like to feel it in my chest as much as I do anything else.
Oh, that's my favorite part of a concert, when you can feel it. I love it.
So good.
Still love it.
Big old juicy
Nick,
bass.
I've taken to carrying earplugs when we go to concerts now.
Yeah, I mean, you get to that age, right? It's just like, all right, I got to protect these babies.
Yep. Well, a couple of years ago, we went down to Vegas.
How was that a couple of years ago? That seems like last month.
Right. Anyway, and went to see the Red Hot Chili Peppers in Vegas.
I'm sure that was amazing.
And it was an amazing concert, but it was painful just because it was so loud and the acoustics where we were just terrible.
It's the worst. I mean, it just ruins the show,
Yeah.
So I'm glad you thought ahead and brought some earplugs. I wish I would have done that.
you guys
That's
try
where
to
we
sound
learned to
older
breathe.
right now, okay?
Well, I wear my dentures.
What?
Whippersnappers.
Little whippersnappers can't handle the loud music.
Hear what you're saying?
I took my kids to Foo Fighters when they were here last year, and just had to flex on them a little bit. When Dave Grohl came out on stage, I'm like, that's cool. The last time I saw Dave Grohl, he was playing drums. Shut up, Dad. We know, Dad. You saw
Nirvana?
Nirvana.
You actually saw Nirvana?
With Gil.
That's
Yep,
amazing.
me and Gil went.
Wow. What year was that?
93.
93.
I've always said if I get a tattoo, it's going to be a tattoo of a dubbed cassette tape that says Nirvana written on it, and put the date, 12/17/93 on it, the day we saw Nirvana.
That is awesome.
Or my kids.
Yes. Yes. Well, kids are great and all, but Nirvana will last forever.
Nirvana laughed forever.
Oh man.
Still
All right.
think Courtney did it.
Gil, what kind of stuff were you in high school? Did you do music or drama or any of that stuff? I don't remember.
Nope.
Nope.
I was a
He
bad
said
kid.
nope. You were a bad kid.
You weren't a bad kid. You were just misunderstood.
I was in a few misunderstandings with Gil.
I don't remember
I
you
was in
being
a fair
bad
number of
kid.
misunderstandings with Gil, too.
Okay, but I do have a quote from the yearbook. It says, "I will have my own shop called the Grasshopper." Gilligan Frederickson.
Wonder if he was high when he said that.
Do you have any recollection of what the heck that was about?
I bet I do.
Yeah, I stole it from the Doors.
Oh.
Jim Morrison has something on American Prayer where he's talking about opening the Grasshopper shop.
And what is the Grasshopper shop? As in grass?
You buy your weed there.
Uh-huh. You put your weed in
weed in
there. You guys can hear that? Sorry. Why'd you quit that drumming? Adam Sandler. Okay, so that you just, that means nothing to me now, because now I just know you stole it. I thought that's got to be something amazing, but no. I'm just kidding.
Gil was into plagiarism.
I'm really into plagiarism.
It was into thievery.
I mean, Jim Morrison's amazing, so I can't really be mad at you for that, but I was hoping there was a better story there.
Plagiarism and tax fraud.
Tax fraud. All in high school?
When's the better
Where's
when's the better time to start?
That's where I learned it. Miss Schnibby taught me in the 8th grade. Here's some English punctuation, and here's how to avoid taxes. Stick it to the man.
Now you can deduct this, kids.
Remember, kids, tax evasion is a crime. Tax avoidance is a different thing.
A whole different thing. All right, so Mark, I got something here that I pulled out of the annals.
Beg your pardon?
You said animals.
Where'd you have it?
Do you guys remember this? The butylzeethanol
Oh,
book?
yeah.
What is that?
That is the literary magazine.
The Lit Mag?
Yes, the Lit Mag,
Oh, my
1995.
Speaking of bad
You
poetry,
remember this one?
Yeah, I always hated the title of that thing.
So
you can thank Bethel Cope for that.
yes, there is a photo and poem by Gilligan in here. Should we read it? In days of fluster, my heart is dry. I loved a girl named Jessica. No, it didn't say that. Thrown asunder, left to die, and left to salvage the broken pieces, too near the edge, no real reasons. For my insanity, titters on the brink, wordless vulgarity.
I don't
Wordless
even remember which
vulgarity.
Jim Morrison song that was.
Another plagiarism? Is that what you're saying?
There is a house in New Orleans. It's called the Rising Sun.
That sounds vaguely familiar. I won't go on. I don't want to embarrass him too much. I mean, this
It
is
was
pretty
actually
good.
good stuff, though. Gil.
It really is. But I'm looking through this. Do you remember, Mark? We have a CD in here.
Of course, how could I forget?
I know.
You're not
I
gonna
think
play
you and
that,
I both.
though.
No, I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to embarrass either of us that much.
You'd have to find
beautiful.
a CD player. Like,
Well, as I opened it up, this is what I found. A signed Yanni poster.
why not?
The Yanni himself put his hands on this
Wait,
poster
which
and signed
Yanni?
it.
Like Phil Yanni?
Chris Yanni. His
Oh.
little brother.
I was thinking
The
Phil or Steve.
mechanic. No, I was not ashamed to be Yanni fan back then because it wasn't that nerdy. Okay, it was pretty.
I got news for you,
We'll be
Nick.
honest, it was pretty nerdy.
Don't want to be the one to break this to you, but
But you were a huge freaking nerd. But yeah, it was tucked into this the Lit Mag or book, whatever it was called. And I'm looking at some of the stuff in here. I'm like, oh my gosh, these are teenagers trying our hardest to sound cool and deep. And I mean, we thought we were, just so amazing. And I listened to the CD. Tim Porter's on there. He's got some stuff, And you guys were so into the electric piano. I thought it was just so funny. Everyone's got an electric piano
So
song.
dumb.
I flipping hate the electric piano. It's so doinky. Clunk, clunk, clunk. But man, it was cool. You guys loved it, and I'm like, all right. It took me back and gave me a really great appreciation for how cool we thought we were. But I was also impressed at how many people actually
Submitted.
submitted in there. I'm like,
it was a cool thing to do.
it was a cool thing. We
Remember the kid that was just straight ripping Green Day?
Yep. Like the down,
Yep.
So funny. But all my kids went to the New Murray. My son Simon's there right now. He's a junior. Ian just graduated last year. Gabe went there during COVID, which was not great for anybody. But he's doing well now. He's fine. But I felt like the 90s when we were there, we had kind of had the best of both worlds. We had great sports. It was fun, but we also valued, the music and the arts. I felt like we always had a great balance. We had a great turnout for everything. Everyone supported each other, and it's just really not like that anymore, which kind of made me sad. Murray was always this tight-knit community. There's just there's more separation there. I got to be their DJ for homecoming this last month, which was a lot of fun. But man, they do not even have any idea what good music is, and
I got to be their
depressed me.
DJ
Did you do it?
probably 18 or 20 years ago. And
Back when music was still good, though. so.
they're the ones that made me stop doing high school gigs. They were such brats. I played a song for like this poor nerd kid requested this weird song, and I kept pushing it off, but he kept asking.
Did you
So
say
I was
this
like,
one's for the poor nerd
This
kids?
is for a burner. You know who you are.
But they sat in. They did a like protest sit in because I played the song that this poor kid wanted, and I was like, okay, I don't do high school gigs anymore.
They just sat there and like wouldn't move to it no matter what.
Yeah, they made
Wow.
their point.
So there's this new song, I don't know, Machine Gun Kelly or some, whatever, some collaboration between a bunch of idiots who don't know good music. It's called Fane? Something
Yep.
like that. Yeah, okay, you know it? You know the
Yep.
song?
Yeah, I have teenagers.
So there's one
go
part.
crazy.
They go nuts. But the other 4.5 minutes of the song, they just stand around and do nothing because it's not even like danceable music. He's just like talking and like
Never
there's like a
sounded older.
slight beat. Then all of a sudden it's fane, 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 and everybody gets crazy. And then they do all the stuff, they jump around, and then they just all separate and just kind of stand there and go back to their conversation. I'm like, what is happening right here? I'm like, oh man. But
Like, where is ministry?
you know, right?
Thieves
Something
and
wild.
liars.
But I did, and I always force this song upon every high school gig I do, and I'm always asked, "Who is this? This is an amazing song." "Never Tear Us Apart" by NXS.
Oh,
Really?
Such a good song.
that is such a good song. Yeah.
They are such an underrated band, and I play that song every chance I get, and I get at least 5 or 10 kids. They're like, "That song was so sick. What was that? It was so good." I'm like, "That was called real music."
Yeah.
Okay,
That
guys.
saxophone solo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so good.
Made you just play air sax.
I just,
Well, okay,
I
so
play a
there's
little
so
bit
many
of air sax.
there's so many '90s bands. I was thinking about this today. I was driving over here and an REM song was on the radio, and I'm like I had to explain to my kids the other day. I'm like, you don't understand. Without growing up in the '90s, you don't understand how, like, you hear us talk about like Nirvana and Offspring still around, Green Day still around, like all these big bands that were up and coming then, and the bands that were big then. I'm like, but I don't think you understand how big REM was in the '90s.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
you don't
huge.
understand that. Like they were selling out the Delta Center.
Yep.
They were
Yep.
they were selling out
They
the
were
Delta Center
huge.
when they would come in town. They were a big thing music wise, and they're just
100%.
kind of not now. They just kind of faded off. It was like that. This was good stuff.
Yeah. Michael Stipe still has a fantastic voice. I mean, they'll do, I don't know if they're together, but I've seen, more recent, like, I don't know if they're just kind of reunion tours or whatever. He sounds great. It's like some of these guys, their voices just hold up for years and years.
That's a reunion tour I'd travel to see.
Yeah.
I would absolutely go and see that.
I mean, Ian Astbury from The Cult, he still sounds pretty fantastic. Some of these guys, they've got to drop a key or two just so they
Yeah.
can still wail without screeching and cracking, but
And
they're
the Cult
great.
is another
This
one
is
of
my
those.
son Simon. Hi, Si.
Hey, Simon. The Cult is another one of those bands that just I don't think we always appreciate how awesome they were. Like
She
how.
Sells Sanctuary.
Oh,
is-
yeah.
will
One of
always
the
be
best.
one of my favorites.
I was listening to Sweet Soul Sister the other day, and just the way it's got that slow intro with the organ, I'm like, oh, they just don't make music like this anymore. It's just so good. And it is called Sweet Soul Sister, but I mean, it's got soul, it's just got passion, and I just don't feel that. And I do feel like an old man talking like this, but music is just kind of taking a really bad downturn these days.
When I was younger,
When I was a kid.
When I was listening to Mozart,
Or remember we used to listen to like one of the biggest things was like movie soundtracks. Like,
Oh, yeah.
How cool the movie soundtracks were. Like the
Top
whole,
Gun.
Top Gun. I think the last
Danger Zone,
movie
baby.
soundtrack I bought was Gladiator, maybe.
I mean, well, like I used to listen to one of my favorite albums in high school was remember the movie Singles. That soundtrack it had like Pearl Jam, Mother Love Bone, like all these Seattle bands and stuff. That was one I did this summer. I was up in Seattle and I took my kids to the what's the name of the record label that I can't think of right now.
Sub Pop.
Sub Pop, that's right. Thank you, Gil. We took him to the Sub Pop record store, And and they're like, what was Sub Pop? I'm like, you got to understand, this was the grunge record label. This was, if it had the Sub Pop logo on it, just buy it. It's going to be good, And that was the theme in that that stretch. But that was like the Singles movie soundtrack had all those bands on it. Soundgarden's another one that. Do you realize how good that music is, Chris Cornell?
Cornell?
Yeah.
He's somebody that I have just rediscovered, and I can't believe I didn't listen to him more.
While he was alive.
My kids are discovering them now.
Audio Slave, amazing.
Soundgarden's still one of the coolest concerts I ever went to. Like one of the most intense mosh pit experiences I was ever in was Soundgarden. I mean, just absolutely incredible.
I love the band live. They did
yeah.
a tribute band.
Oh, yeah.
Saw live in concert. Saw live.
I did too. I went with Jessica Harrington, just so you guys know, let you know. We had a
Did she
blast.
recite poetry?
The what?
Did she remember terrible poetry?
She's like, this is way better than
She's
this experience I had in junior high.
She's like, lightning crashes, and it makes me think of that time with the kid and the roses on the bus.
It's the worst day of my life.
You're gonna punch me, aren't you?
Nope. I can live in my shame.
You're gonna choke me out till
Become
Coach
a
Knudsen
raw-
shows up.
So,
Yep.
I was just so Tim that he just stuck with it too.
Oh,
all right.
Okay,
so
how many times did Tim almost get you all beat up? So many
Almost got
times.
me
running
killed.
his mouth?
Yeah, running his or
He almost
Tim's
got us
favorite,
arrested.
or we'd go to
the farmer's daughter.
Yep.
Yep.
we'd go to the Ritz Dance Club, and Tim's favorite dance move wasn't to dance, it was to go find someone a lot bigger than him and make fun of him by trying to dance exactly like them without him noticing. And we're like, Tim, you're gonna get us killed.
That is awesome. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I had Tucker on the show last week, Tucker Danzy.
Okay.
We had a good time. He's done a lot of directing work, and we did movies and film, talked a lot about horror film and stuff. It was a blast. But I think he and Tim were both really good friends together, weren't they? Is that
Tim
recall?
Carnahan and Tucker?
Yeah, I thought so. Maybe I'm
Not that I knew.
misremembering. But anywho, okay, so moment of truth. Do you guys still dream about high school occasionally?
Oddly enough, yes.
Isn't it weird? I mean, it's
Yeah.
like so part of our psyche and like formative years.
But it's weird stuff like in high school, but I'm still married to my wife.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
it's
like-
like I can't be here. I've got a test, but I've also
But
got to
I've
go to
also-
work and provide for my children. But I've got to get through high school again.
Thankfully, no. Thankfully.
I
Really?
haven't had a dream. I'll dream about being in the army,
Ah, yeah.
but
So have I, and I was never in the army. That's when it got weird.
Just I really wanted to. How long did you serve, Aaron?
I did 8 years.
Wow.
I'm what you would call a counterfeit veteran. I didn't go anywhere and do anything.
Nah. I mean, you always were under the threat you could have, right?
I mean, I suppose.
Yeah. Same, just like
Well,
your
thank
wife.
you for your service anyway.
Yeah. And what was your highest rank that you got to?
So I was a staff sergeant.
Nice.
He was actually just a sergeant, but he had a staph infection.
Yep.
So he called himself
They
staff.
called him Staffy.
But the dreams that I have are just silly things like showing up and my M9 Beretta is filled with like AAA batteries instead of cartridges, and I'm showing up and I'm supposed to be in my PT uniform, but I've got Class A's on. It just random, very much like the going to school naked kind of thing.
Yeah, or you don't have your locker combination.
Right, right.
Yeah, yeah.
What class am I supposed to be in now? Very much that same kind of thing.
That's wild. Where did you live and do basic training and stuff?
So I did basic training so I had kind of a roundabout career in the Army. I started out, I accidentally signed up for an ROTC class at the U. So I started out my college career at Boise State. And in 2000, transferred down and started going to the U. And
Go Utes.
just honestly accidentally signed up for this ROTC class. They called it Adventure Challenge, and they said, "Hey, come take this class. I needed an elective," and they were like, "We'll teach you how to read maps, and we'll take you on a river trip." And I was like, "Oh, this will be cool."
You get to kill somebody.
Well,
You can carry a gun if you want.
so and
It's like, I already got one.
I've never been a small guy, but after we graduated, I put on a lot of weight and got up to about 360 pounds.
Oh,
And
wow.
so I showed up to ROTC class at my heaviest, and they kind of laughed at me. They're like, "What are you doing here?" Anyway, I ended up having an instructor who was a captain in the Army who pulled me into his office and was like, "What are you doing here?" And so I kind of explained to him, my...
Did you use the jar headline? I got lost on my way to college, sir.
No, I should have, though. But anyway, this guy took me under his wing, a guy named Ray Bouchard, took me under his wing and gave me the motivation that I kind of needed to lose a bunch of weight. I lost 120 pounds.
Wow, that's fantastic.
And the following summer ended up being eligible to go to Fort Knox, Kentucky it was ROTC basic camp. So it's kind of like basic training, but it's an ROTC thing where it was, I can't remember, 5 weeks instead of 9 weeks. I can't remember the time frames now. It's been 20 years ago. So I ended up getting a scholarship through the ROTC because I had lost all the weight and I'd gone to this camp and done really well, and then did the next 2 years of ROTC and was going to commission, but 5 weeks before my commissioning, I failed a body fat tape test by 0.42%.
Oh.
Not that I'm bitter or anything, but I failed this body fat percentage test by less than 0.5%.
Wow.
And was disenrolled and still wanted to serve, and so I enlisted in the National Guard because it gave me an opportunity to join the National Guard, the aviation unit that is in West Jordan that flies the Blackhawks and Apaches.
Mm-hmm.
I think they still do that anyway. And was going to go the OCS route. And
What's OCS mean?
Officer Candidate School.
Okay.
Mm.
Sorry. So, long story longer. Ended up going to basic training for, just regular Army in South Carolina, Fort Jackson. Relaxing in Jackson.
Fort Jackson, if you're nasty.
So, and I had 3 kids by that time.
Mm-hmm.
Had to get a waiver because I had too many kids.
Really?
Yep.
Didn't even know that was a thing.
I didn't know it was a thing either, and they're like, wait a minute. So anyway, got the waiver, no problem. Went to basic training, did really well at basic training, came back, and my marriage had been falling apart since before I went to basic training, and after I got back, it really fell apart.
Mm.
And so in my divorce, I ended up with primary custody of my 3 kids and an ex-spouse that wouldn't abide by any of the family care plans
Oh,
that I came
lovely.
up with. So I couldn't, there just was no way for me to deploy
Mm-hmm.
or even go to training. So I ended up getting a hardship discharge.
Okay.
So that's why I call myself a counterfeit veteran.
No, you sound too hard on yourself. I mean, the fact that you were doing it, you were willing to do it, you were there, trying your hardest, I think it's awesome.
It was a lot of fun. It's one of those things where if you don't have the right mentality, if you're not if you don't have the emotional fortitude, or even if you do, you see things that and experience things that mark a person And like I had friends come back from combat and tell me stories that made me sick for literally 2 weeks after they told me the story. Like I would wake up in the middle of the night just from hearing the story. And so if I had actually gone and seen those things myself, I don't know that I would have survived. So
Wow, that was insane. All right, so tell us what you do now. We've only got a few minutes left, so give us a plug for what you do now.
So I'm a goldsmith. I make and repair jewelry, and I have a little store in South Jordan called Jewelry by You.
Mm-hmm.
And
JewelryByYou.com.
yep.
There you go. Listeners, go check it out. I have seen some of your stuff. You are pretty talented. Who actually taught you how to do that?
So most of it I learned from my dad. My dad's been a goldsmith for
Oh,
40 years. Yeah, 40 years.
so it's literally in your blood.
Literally in my blood. So yeah, he taught me a lot of what I know, and the rest I've picked up on my own.
Very cool. Mark, what do you do these days?
I work in healthcare staffing,
Yes, you mentioned
So-
that. What was the company again?
CHG,
CHG.
Comp Health, and I started off as a recruiter with them and then switched over, and now I arrange housing with the doctors. So I was in real estate for about 12 years. Was in new construction, real estate agent, still a real estate agent, but did marketing and sales for home builders.
Nice.
And then I was a DJ for 23 years.
Like just for events and
Yeah,
things? And-
mobile
yeah.
DJ,
Yeah.
mostly weddings, parties,
Nice.
stuff like that. So,
Are you married? Do you have kids?
yeah, married, 4 kids.
Nice.
That, which reminds me, my son Cooper made me promise to give him a shout out. Cooper Logan Davis, you
What
are
up, Coop?
famous. You're on a podcast.
Hey Cooper.
That's right.
Love you,
Cooper.
Cooper.
My last one had well over 200 views, so there you go.
Wow.
We're growing. We're getting along. This is only episode 9, and it's fun. This has been really fun. Gil, what are you doing? What are you doing these days?
Funny thing about that, I'm in between things right now.
Yeah, me too. That's why you're all here tonight. Trying to find a way to fill the time. What are you doing to fill your time?
For the most part, I volunteer at the hospital.
Nice. What do you do for him? Which hospital?
IMC.
IMC over there. Mhm.
I'm part of a group called RAMP, which is rehabilitation advocate mindset mentorship program. So basically a lot of different people that have been through some major medical life changes that kind of help people learn how to move on and keep going.
I can commiserate with that 100%. Well, that's awesome. That's very cool. I'm sure that's very fulfilling, and seeing people change their lives after trauma and
Yeah, it's been great.
PTSD and everything else that comes with all that fun stuff. Randy, how about you? What are you doing these days?
I'm a dad and a amateur football coach. I coached my kids' football team this year. Had a lot of fun doing it. Although now I'm trying to fill my time because we just got eliminated last week, and
Oh, yes.
having the imposter syndrome of could I have done better? Could I have done something more? And trying to come to grips with it. I know I'm taking it
As
hard.
Knudsen would say, there. There.
If they would have done more squat thrusts,
Yep.
maybe.
Maybe.
5 more.
5 more would have done it.
Maybe. No.
And are you employed currently?
Yeah, I am. But I work in a regulated industry, and I didn't actually tell my employer that I was recording a podcast. So just say,
Industry secrets are being spilt right
Drug
here.
dealer.
potentially.
Very regulated.
Yes.
You
It's
sound so
cartel stuff.
mysterious,
I
Randy.
know, right?
do
Are you a
sound
spy?
mysterious.
I work in financial services.
Oh, so he is a spy.
Oh, so you
Moving
launder money.
mafia money around.
He launders money.
No, but I've seen Breaking Bad, so I could totally do it.
Give us a name. Weren't your parents supposed to do that? Oh my gosh. You guys, this has been so much fun. Thank you for so much and humoring this old guy and coming out and forcing you to play video games. I know none of you are gamers, but it's fun. Just sit down, play
What's
some
your first
Tetris.
clue, Nick?
Well, Well, I can see what you guys are playing over here. You know,
I'm
and
kicking
it's,
Randy's trash. It's
Well, the only problem with this is I
think
didn't actually know
Mark's
how to
controller
change the
died.
games if we wanted
It's all
to.
right.
well,
So-
Nick, thank you for having us.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
yeah. Who's been winning more rounds over there?
I couldn't even tell you. Half the time I'm not sure which side I'm on.
You would think you would get better after playing Tetris for 2 hours straight. I got worse. Truly.
That's the adult ADD kicking in.
The pop-up literally came and said, "Are you sure you want to keep playing another round?"
Are
Really?
you sure?
Are you
You're
sure?
really bad at this.
Gil's killing it over here, and Mario Kart looks like he picked it up pretty quickly. So
Well, and Nick, I just got to say too, like it broke my heart when I read your Facebook post about your medical trauma from the last year, and
Yeah.
I'm just it was one of those things where I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe, you know, it makes you so sad to hear bad things happening to good people, but I'm so glad you're with us, buddy.
Yeah,
Like that.
yeah.
No kidding.
I really
Like,
appreciate that.
like the four of us and a couple others are in a group text, and we chat and hang out quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And you were definitely a topic of conversation that day, and we were all just really worried for you and pulling for you, and just glad to see you
I
in the
appreciate
position you're
that.
in.
Good job not dying.
Yeah, way to not
Yeah.
die.
Seriously, right?
Way to not die.
Get your hearts checked.
Yeah.
I mean, in my case, it would have made no difference. I had a physical about 6 months prior, and they still couldn't find a reason why it happened. They're like, your body just woke up one day and said, we're going to try and die today. And the universe had other plans. And they're just like, I mean, if I go back and watch episode 2, my wife and I just do a little story. We go through the whole thing. It is ridiculous how many things were put in place to keep me alive that day. It was beyond like coincidence. It's just like, oh my gosh. And you know, going back and looking at it, I mean, it was just insane. I mean, I called my own ambulance. I came to after passing out after my heart exploded.
Wow.
And my doctor's like, 35 years I've never talked to anybody who's had the aneurysm. It's always been after the surgery. And they go back and tell us, like, we talked for almost an hour before we got you on the operating table. I said goodbye to my wife and kids. I signed my own DNRs. I mean,
Wow.
it was crazy. So I look back at that and I'm just like, did that, you know, it's just almost like a dream. I can't even believe that happened. So, you know, if you want the full episode, go listen to it. It's insane. But yeah, I mean, ever since, you know, so my first day back to work, they actually fired me.
Welcome back.
Yeah, once it was all legal, and you know, I mean, you don't want to be heartless and fire the guy who just had his heart explode. So
Without a heart.
you wait till the first day he comes back, and then you let him go. So that was in April. So I've been, you know, looking for work since then. But when you're that close to the other side, and you're just like, this is it. I mean, I'm not going to survive this. You just realize how important relationships are. And I had this idea for the podcast, and I'm just, you know, I'm like, podcasters are horribly boring to watch, and game streamers are the most ridiculous people to listen to. I'm like, there's got to be a fun way to combine it. And it really just gave me a selfish reason to reconnect with people who I've always just wanted to hang out with. I mean, we haven't talked in 25 years, you know, almost 30 years. We saw each other at the reunion 10 years ago, but, you know, it's like you don't have time to really catch up. And it's just been this great reason to just get to know people, reconnect, and to have fun in a really casual way. And, you know, it's like you're forced to sit down with at a dinner with something, hope you have a way to, you know, reconnect over a meal or something. We're just talking and reminiscing. So
Just an idea. This is a great thing you have going on. A little twist you could put on it
Yes,
that would
yes.
make it maybe go over the top. Naked gaming.
Wait, I was supposed to wear clothes?
okay, so
We can make that
you can
happen.
barely
Let's go!
game as it is. I think you'll be more focused on the fact you're naked, and the game will totally take third seat to the whole situation.
Depends which games you're playing.
Strip poker, electronic. I used to play that at Eric Davis's house when, you know, it was all pixelated and
Just
stuff.
mark the level on the door
Yeah.
jam as we get older.
I was going to say, all of a sudden you see like the number of streams go up, down. I don't want this.
I know. It's already hard enough being married to a woman who's got an inch on you
Dad, can
anyway.
you come see again?
Yeah, we're wrapping up, buddy.
We're almost done. We're almost done.
Well, Nick, we all still like, We go to Italian Village like once a month. You want to come to Italian Village with us
Guys
next time?
you're probably the ones who keep that place in business now.
It's busy.
always
It's
hopping.
Always
busy.
people.
Always hopping.
And
Always busy.
They have really good salads,
Do they? Because I only know they have pizza vendors still.
and everything else I've ever had there, it's like, yeah, that was all right. But it is going to be there till the end of time. I
Plus,
swear.
you can get weed there.
You just got to go.
I got a really
that's
good
the right
story
guy.
about that. And then the cops walked in.
That's not oregano.
We're going to end the stream right here, but we're going to keep the mics going for the Patreon subscribers. So, we're going to have a little after party here. Everyone, thank you for joining us. This has been such a good time. If you want to hear the rest of the conversation, like, subscribe, all that, internet crap that you've heard
Don't
a thousand
forget to like and
times.
subscribe.
You're all amazing. Love you. We'll see you next time. Good night.